What is going on? Market manipulation. Market manipulation is the buzzword. It's going on, they say. It's absolutely going on. At peak levels, no less. We got 9 eyes on this thing. None on the Collector Art House Facebook page? Page, not group. There's a distinction there. Oh, man. Some of these West Coast, some of these Europeans, they stay up quite late. It's a breakneck pace. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how I do it, honestly. It's tough. We got Mike Pelly. We got Timbo Slice in the flesh. Any relation to Kimbo? Is Kimbo alive? It was Kimbo, right? Didn't he die? I think he died, let me take a look at this. Kimbo Slice. Age 42, that's what I thought. He was like an older... That's your dad. Okay. Well, rest in peace. It's he had a strong beard, you know? I thought it would hold up a little longer. But it's a lot of weight to carry around. Apparently he was in a movie called Circle of Pain in 2010. But that is not the topic at hand at all. Not even a little bit. But it's an interesting insight, which I appreciate. We need to go to the overhead cam tonight. We could go to... You guys want to see a little... let's... This is a show all about the facts, you know? So we need to get the facts on Kimbo. Kimbo, rest his soul, passed on June 6th of 2016. We're coming up on a 8-year anniversary on Kimbo, father of Timbo, 42 ripe years of age. It's unfortunate. I don't think there's any relation to Ivan. What do you mean Ivan's IMDb? Actor Ivan, from LA and France, all at the same time. Cards everywhere around that guy. Many sets. Partial, complete many times over. So that's the latest on Kimbo. We got some Dust Ore. We got this thing. We got this. All right, so we're going to take a look at that. And let me see. Let's go with overhead cam. So we're gonna talk about market manipulation. It's something that came up in the conversation with Ivan Fuchs, which is French for fox, I think is what we learned last night. It's one of the few things we learned. That and a few other things. The other thing was about market manipulation and buyouts. Hey, what's up, Andy Minnis? Aren't you in the UK? What time is it out there? It's, what is that? 2 a.m.? German for fox. Oh, it's German for fox? I thought are you sure he didn't say French? I thought he said he was, I thought they put a Russian name on him. Or something like that. Russian name, French guy. With a German for fox name, apparently. I don't know. He's in France. He's definitely in France. I thought he was French, though, with a Russian name. I don't know. He says he watches all my stuff, but I've never seen him comment unless his name is Purple Squish. Purple Squish. Pour one out for Kimbo. He was an interesting character, that guy. Good fighter. Didn't he go UFC? Speaking of UFC, we need to take a look at the latest in frog technology. Oh, I didn't pin it to featured? I need the the dromedary. Look, we need to pin the latest in frog performance enhancing frogs. Where is my frog? See? If you don't pin it, you got problems. I probably just overpassed it. I'm pretty tired, I'm going to be honest. We might get rambly tonight. Someone, was it right up top the whole time? Maybe I got to refresh. I might not have refreshed. So the Facebook group. There we go. Right up top, baby. Look at this. All right, we got to pin that to featured. So we got that up on the featured banner. Look at the way that shows on the featured banner. Right in the goods. The most muscular pose. You know this one? From the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio? Who's in Ohio tonight? We got the most muscular from the latest in performance enhancing frogs. And what happened was Mikhail sent me 4 artist proofs. And he said, Mike, 1 is a gift to you. And the other 3 we're going to auction. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see. All right, I was like, thank you. We'll see when it shows up. And then I saw them. And I was like, this frog is for me. Without a doubt. Has to be the frog. But it was late, when I opened it up and I saw it. And Mikhail's out there in Europe on a late time zone, and I couldn't get confirmation. So I just assumed it was for me. I was like, I took some pictures, I posed with it, as you should do when you come into the grace of a frog like this. And the next day he was like, well, translate with your phone, he said. I don't know what he meant by that. Because he wrote it up pretty good. Maybe he meant he was translating it with his phone. And because he doesn't really speak English. He uses a translator. And he said that there was another one. It's actually it's the tower with the tower from Nosferatu. You guys know what I'm talking about? What is that tower called? Sometimes I get the towers mixed up. I'm thinking a little slow tonight. I'm pretty tired. So tower... Let's go look for tower. Here we go. The Dark Tower is what it was. So it was a dark tower, and then there's these 4 streaking meteorites. See, this one has 1 meteorite. This is probably one of the better dark towers that I've seen him do. Really amazing proof, this one. And so he did another one. And you know what? I'll just show it to you guys because I elected to keep this one because what happened was it's a tower, and there's 4 streaking meteorites. And he said that is supposed to symbolize my family. So I was like, oh, man. It would seem pretty shallow to claim the frog after he, showed my streaking wife as a meteorite soaring past a building and my 3 children. So, and it's pretty nice, too. I mean, the freaking, this tower here, the Dark Tower, is pretty sick. The original artwork for this is really awesome. And I think, was it the Dark Tower or the Lone Tower? One of the towers was included in the Collector Tier Pledge. We were looking at the Collector Tier Pledge yesterday. And someone got one of those towers, which is amazing. And Eric owns the other 2, so we're kind of stuck. Unless somebody wins it at an event. So there was this one that sold for a while back for $650. But what we have, and what did I do? Oh, you know what? I put in my binder already. So I'm going to have to go binder on this one. All right. Bit of a reach. All right, so we're going to go overhead cam. So what we need to do is... And by the way, guys, we've been doing a lot of lives. We did lives Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I don't know, I didn't like announce this one too well. I did if you guys want to put the word out across the other socials and let people know we're going live, that might be helpful. We got 21, 22 people. People might just be burnt out for me running my mouth for 3 nights in a row. This is night 3. We did it Monday, Tuesday. We got a live tonight. I might have to do a live tomorrow because, like, what's going on here is I'm getting, like, Grail. The summer of Grails are coming in. Every day, more Grails. There was a couple things that happened today, and we're going to get into it. Huge. Really huge. And there's something else huge coming very soon. In the matter of days or day. And then, let me think here. There is something else also on the way. Probably next week. And things I sent out. Things coming in. So, every category that people are interested in. Oh, there's also something else. Hopefully, I got to check the timing on that. So, we got artist proofs, altars, original paintings from Sorcery, original paintings outside of Sorcery by Sorcery artists, and I think that probably covers all the prime categories. I did say I was going to have like an A9 that I was going to offer, and I was going to offer the mixes as a set, the 4 mixes, and each of the cores individually from Alpha. But the guy was like, I I don't know. He kind of I sold a couple curios for him, through consignment through the auctions, and those did pretty well. I thought actually very well, I would say. The Eric's Curiosa I think sold for a little over 3K or thereabouts. The sketch card curio. I think it's undervalued, frankly. I mean, because it's a curio, so maybe it's a niche. Maybe that's why. That's an interesting data point. Like why would you value? I mean, I guess the Philosopher's Stone is the Grail of Grails. So let's look at Eric's Curiosa here. On the this is the Sorcery Contested Realm Community Facebook group. So the Eric's Curiosa. Look at this one here. So you got the Curio sketch card. You have the Alpha non-foil. Then you have the Alpha foil. And then you have the Curio sketch card again. One was mine. One was the one I sold through consignment. And then you have one of the early promos, which is awesome. That's like the Francesca Berald spellbook back. So the detailed sketch she did of that before she painted that piece. I think what happened there is a lot of artists, a lot of times do like a detailed sketch. Sometimes they do it separately to kind of flesh out the concept a little bit. And then they'll paint entirely separately from that sketch. They'll do like a thumbnail sketch and probably play with some things. Sometimes artists will do a color study. Other times artists will, sometimes in pretty good detail or more loosely, like sketch on the canvas or whatever, art paper material they're doing on, and then paint over top of that, to fill in the color detail and the color blends, but, get the concept kind of laid down and then focus on the color element aspects of it. So it's a pretty interesting approach. I'm not sure which Francesca did in this case. I don't know that I ever asked her that or about her process per se. So I'm not sure about her specifically. But she had these, clearly she has like a detailed sketch approach one way or another, whether that's separate from the card or the art piece that she paints over top, or she does that like on a smaller form factor. But clearly she did that, and she took images of it, and they were of high enough quality that Eric was able to use those for curio cards. And the same is true for the Severin Elemental Avatars. So we ran this auction on the Curiosa sketch card. And let me see. Let's go to posted by me. All right. So the Sir Tristan got a deal done on that. $3,030. What a number. I think that's probably a great value. I mean, there's been copies of this sold for $3,500, $4,000 at times. The market kind of ebbs and flows. Sometimes you have lulls, and we're kind of in like a quieter period here as we wait for more news on Arthurian Legends and get into really, I think the back end of this year is going to be mammoth. Huge. So Simon from the company hinted last year that there'll be announcements coming this week, and he said it like on one of my lives recently. He was in the chat and he said, I was like, I don't know. I was like saying like, dude, I need information. I need some infos on the Spiel lesson and what's going on there, in Germany. I need to know who's going. Are you going? Is Eric going? Are other people going? Are the artists going? I know like a lot of European fans from all over the European countries will go. It's like a real massive event in Spiel. I asked Simon where it was, and he's like, it's in Spiel. It's like, yeah, makes sense. Kind of adds up. Spiel Essen. Or no, he said it's in Essen. It's called Spiel. It's in Essen. Shows what a moron I am. So how geographically challenged. It comes to light every day. But, tired or not, there's no excuse for that. That's just poor retention of my geography studies as a young lad in the Northeast. City boy lifestyle. Not really. Not in the city, but on the outskirts. Not in the country either. But anyway, Essen. So he said like there might be more information coming. So I expect in this week's announcement from Sorcery, maybe we find out about Essen. That is a tournament that's going on. I think it's October 3rd through 6th in Essen. Spiel Essen is the event. It's in Essen, Germany. And it's near like Dusseldorf, I think is the name of the town. And, it's easily accessible from France. So probably Severin, Vincent, Pompetti. Maybe Francesca Beraldi coming in from Italy would be awesome. Maybe Matthias. Maybe Jussi Pilkus. You know, we got Sweden. We got Finland represented. We got France. We have, well, Vincent's in France. We got Francesca in Italy. We got Alvara's in the UK now. She's going to be going to the IX Art Show in the US here. So I think it's too much in 1 month. She said it's unlikely for Essen for her. We got Rodney Matthews in the UK. Maybe I can talk to Rodney and see if he might be up for going. That'd be freaking unbelievable. And who am I missing, guys? There's Mikhail Nagypol out there in Slovakia. So there's Vasily in Russia. I don't know, man. There's a lot of options out there. So anyway, that was a good auction. Did that one for him. I did the Bloom of Frogs. And he decided he wants to hold off on the A9 set. It's a long-winded way of saying he's going to hold off on that. So that will not become an auction near term. He might grade those. And then I'm trying to bring to auction some graded cards. If anybody wants to auction graded cards, reach out to me. You know, I do. I work with a lot of the artists, but I also do consignment for the community. And so I'm running a promotion in my Patreon where there's going to be a discount. If you sign up for the Patreon by June 1st, I'm discounting the commission fee through the months of June and July because I want to auction the graded cards and prove the theory of which cards get a premium and by how much, which grading companies and which levels. I'd love to get a sample size of BGS, PSA, PCG, why not? And the big ones for sure. So PSA, BGS, and CGC, the big three. If you guys want to try PCG, we can do that too. It would be interesting data points. So I want to see 10s and 9s, right? So the promotion is going to be a 10% fee on that. So I strategically and intentionally priced it below eBay pricing. And I don't know what TCG player does, but auction options. There's not a lot of auction options. If you go to eBay, it's probably like 15-ish. I don't know, 12 to 15. And there's a lot of people are distrusting from eBay. I've seen grails on eBay where a buyer was interested. He asked me if I knew the eBay seller, and then I was able to make a connection, and they wanted me the middleman to deal a real big-time 5-figure high-end deal on a big-time grail card, and just he distrusted eBay, and he didn't really. People don't want to screw around with like random people they don't know. So I've also done a bunch of middlemaning and private deals outside of the auctions too. And I actually have a couple of deals working on with full alpha foil sets, 2 of them that are in the works. So that's pretty big deal. And if and when it closes, if the parties are willing to say what the closing price is, it'd probably be a good public data point for the public. So it's really up to buyer and seller on the private deals. You know, I never disclose on a private deal unless both parties say okay. And then if so, I would do it anonymously. Obviously, I wouldn't say who the seller is or who the buyer is, but just the public data point of what it sold for is good information. So there's that, and the auctions are all public, so that's great price discovery as well too. So that's interesting because eBay reputation is pretty much the most important thing to me as a buyer. Oh, you trust eBay? You're saying? Yeah, it's weird. Some people distrust eBay, but you know, I've done hundreds of auctions at this point. Like, it was funny because early on, like, some guys were nervous that, like, it was going to dilute in the early days when we were doing sample cards and stuff, they were worried that, like, the pace was too much and people are going to wallet fatigue and it's just going to erode value and stuff. But then I got into, like, marathon mode and there was just so much going on and so much interest, buyer and seller. They started doing, like, legit marathons, 24 hours every single day for like months on end. I've been doing that for like a year and a half now, and that's fine. I can handle that. You know, I mirror it on Facebook and Discord. So there's a lot of manual tracking and maintenance and being tied to the phone or computer or whatever to get it done. But that's not too bad. It's doing live streams every freaking night for 2 hours, which is takes a toll, and then sleeping for 4 to 5. But yeah, so like point being, I've done hundreds of auctions, so I've earned a reputation of trust in the community as an honest broker, which is important in any dealing you're doing, but definitely for high-end cards, obviously. All right, so we got that. What I wanted to do here was go to the overhead cam and take a look at a few things. So present camera. All right, guys. All right, we got 26 people. I don't know if anyone, by the way, like the video. Go ahead and just like it right now. Go ahead. 26 likes. Cue them up. Cue them up. If you're watching later, if you're watching tomorrow, when this posts, like it up, baby. Like it up. Put a comment in there. 3 dots, maybe 4, maybe 5, or even say words. Let me know what you think about what's going on here and some of the points that I'm going to bring up today. And oh, thank you, Only. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, if you could like it and like it. So you're watching on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, like it on YouTube. Probably Facebook helps too. I can't broadcast to the community group anymore. So, yeah, it just goes to my Facebook page, which is a much smaller following than the community group here. So it's kind of annoying. But, you know, it is what it is. They changed the APIs, their protocols. So YouTube is probably the best bet. It would be helpful to grow YouTube because it's really hard to grow doing lives. I was chatting just coincidentally briefly with Red Zone Rogue earlier today, and I was like, dude, I'm doomed because like all I do is lives almost exclusively. And he was telling me he was hitting like a 20,000 subscriber milestone. He's been grinding for like years. If you keep at it for years, you know, maybe it'll work. But through lives is definitely the slow road. That's not going to get it done nearly as quick as grinding away on recorded content for sure. All right, so this is what we want to do. I'm going to do a little switcheroo of these things. Hey, okay. So, yeah, so what I was going to do, I was going to show you. Oh. Look at this, guys. Look at that. The Brobdingnag Bullfrog. You know? So we had one where Mikhail painted the bullfrog, and right in front of the bullfrog was a painting of Eric Olofsson, the creator of Sorcery, Contested Realm. And the bullfrog was like about to eat his face. It was amazing. And then we got this guy who never misses legs day. All he does is aqua aerobics all day in the deep end, splashing around with whales. Bench pressing. Look how vascular he is, too. You see the vein pop in there on the left bicep and the right bicep. This guy's not messing around. This guy never misses legs day. He is the ultimate frog. Look at it. So, what I loved about this, too, and I'm going to get into, this is my personal binder of just odd-end stuff. Good stuff, though. Real good stuff. We got Spellcraft cards, right? We love the Spellcraft cards. What do I have in here? Spellcraft cards. I don't know. Should I bring this to Baltimore, to the Courtesan Cup, and show some of these? It's pretty interesting history in here. I'm definitely going to bring artist proofs. These are my personal ones, not for sale. So I got a bunch of Elvira Palakowska artist proofs, Sudlow, some Matt Thames, Andrea Modesti. But look at this Modesti, Spear of Destiny. And then I had the frog, and I was like, Mikhail, look at that, dude. Look at that match. Be the spear, be the frog. Be the weapon, be the frog, right? Use the weapon, be the weapon, is the way I coined it on the Facebook group. Use the weapon, be the weapon. It's just such a... Look at this pairing. It looks so good in the binder. But then he told me like the story of the card that he actually made for me. And I was like, oh man, you know, the right thing to do here. I got to claim this one. And this is amazing and beautifully done too. The number 3 of the Dark Tower. You know, so this is Orava Castle. Orava Castle. I think it's in Slovakia, as I recall. I talked about it on the Facebook community group. You guys can find the post. But it's in this tower is where they filmed the old original vintage movie of Nosferatu, right? And then he did this great different perspective and take, right? Like look at the vantage point of the original one. And then here, What he said is this is like a different angle and vantage point, obviously, of the tower. But he said that these 4 meteors or meteorites symbolize my family. So maybe I'm the centerpiece and they're just skipping on past. So get out of here, Mike. Get out of here. We're always looking at your big ass forehead. We're always looking at your big forehead, looking at your phone. Looking at your phone all the time. So get out of here. Here I go. Oh, hey guys, how you doing? How you doing? Whoa, where you going? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Goodbye. Get your ass out of here, you pal bastard. Look at this, you pal bastard. Get out of here. So yeah, it's a pretty sweet AP. It's nice. I love the background. I love when he does like the snowy aspect of it. You know, snow-capped mountains in the back. And then the meteorites streaming by the castle. The Nosferatu castle. So it's pretty sweet. Got a nice little collection going here. And then this one's up for auction right now. So this just launched. It'll close tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then I got, one Brian Smith here. Mild one. This was on the back of Pufferfish. He knows I like the Pufferfish. I got the Adam Burke, Edge of the World. Brian signed a Pudge Butcher for me. It's nice of him to send that. And then these are just some random beta cards from just opening, like, I don't know. I opened a few boxes and stuff. I sent cards to Alterus, like Alice Thorne. I sent him a booster box. Some of the other artists, I gave them some beta. But these are not the store promos. I know people are like ready to dime me out to the company. Look at this guy with the multiple accounts. Dodging the system. Scumbag. Cheater. Look at this guy. Go tell Eric. Someone go tell Eric. These are the old fantasy cards, guys. You could find these on eBay for like $1. I bought these a long time ago. And I was ahead of the power curve. I also had the idea to buy the Braum cards from Guardians CCG. So I picked up a bunch of those, and then people wiped them off the face of the earth on eBay. Can't even find them anymore. But those are all the... I thought it'd be cool. I bought a bunch beyond the 9, I want 9 to fill out the binder, but I have like a few more. Sometimes I just give them away and include them like when people buy stuff. I was collecting some of the promos early on. I don't know. I'm not as into promos. There's like a bunch of promo stuff going on. So we got that. I'll put that away. All right, hang on. So what we need to show here, we got a few things. We got this thing. We got the bearish cases, guys, are popping off right now. Early at first 24 hours, there was like $5,000 in sales, or just below, maybe 4,500 or so. Because if you buy the full set, the alpha, this is the alpha one. There's a beta one. So you got an alpha, beta, the pre-con kit, 4 of these, and a booster pack one, which I leave on the shelf over there. All of that is like $125. If you're in the Collector Art House Patreon, you get 10% off of that. You're saving like, close to $12 to $15, and then that covers the Patreon for a month. It kind of pays for itself. And then if you like it, you stick around. If you don't, you're like, F you, Mike, I'm out of here. I'm going to go support Louis. Or fucking, I don't know. Who else has Patreon? Red Zone Rogue. I'm gonna go play Flesh and Blood, baby. I'm gonna play I don't know, those anime games. I'm gonna collect all the anime cards. Get out of here, you bastard. But anyway, it kind of pays for itself. Or just, don't want to support, then I got a 5% code, ArtHouse5. But the bearish cases are legit, man. Best in breed. So those guys and or their wife are going to be in Baltimore sharing a table. I'm going to have a table there at the Baltimore Sorcery Spring Social event, and we'll have the bearish cases to showcase. And hopefully they'll be in now. This pre-order window right now, but they're supposed to be delivered like early June, maybe 2 to 3 weeks away. So that'll be pretty sweet. And then, we got that going on. Those are like a great, awesome product. We got this thing. So what I want to do here, guys, we got a pretty big deal thing going on here. So I mentioned there's grails from every category. We got 29 people right now. 1 like on Facebook. So we're really rolling now. We got the first like. People are loving the content. All right, hang on. All right, guys. So, what we have here is a piece of artboard. And on the back side of this artboard is a card, a painting, in fact, an illustration, an original painting for a card from Sorcery Contested Realm. And it's by an artist that dates back to the 1980s, I believe, is when he started his career. Predated Magic, but was there in the early days of Magic. Painted in the early days of Magic. And his style is, his ability and skill is really, really insane. You know? And there was a couple, I actually almost bought this exact piece, you know? And I passed on it. The wife wasn't vibing with it. And then, come to find out, she doesn't vibe with any of my paintings. So, it's kind of a non-factor at this point, because I have a bunch. She doesn't like any of them. She just doesn't care for fantasy art, I guess. I don't know. She's doing her own thing. So, I don't know. It prevented me from buying it at the time. And then I never got to see it in person. Somebody else bought it. So, what happened was somebody else bought it. And now he's thinking about moving on from this. I missed a conversation about manipulated the market. We're going to go back to that one. We got to do a showcase first. I got to tease the conversation about the manipulation. I wanted to show a few things. So this artist, man, his skill, so there you go, your first clue. It is a male artist in the game of Sorcery Contested Realm. It dates back to the 80s. He worked for TSR. And then some people don't know TSR. I believe what happened was they were bought by... Were they bought by WotC? There was like kind of a rough situation of falling out. A lot of people got moved out there to the West Coast, and then things got a little dicey. I think a lot of artists kind of got burned and screwed around, ripped off, laid off. So they had to evolve, you know. A lot got picked up by Magic, you know, when that was like a massive success very early on, much like Sorcery, right? Had great early success. And it endured, obviously. Here we are, over 30 years later. And those artists, a lot of them stuck with Magic. A lot did book covers, illustrations. Some learned how to airbrush and did automobile airbrushing. There's a whole art industry, you know. You could apply art in so many different ways. Marketing. Asi Haikala does a lot of branding and marketing. You got guys like Brian Smith who just make a go at it on Instagram and has made a living off doing that full time. Atlas Thorne does that. He does it with altars right now. I gotta get him to do full scale painting. Hopefully Eric will get him to do full scale painting. But some people do it through the altars scene, or they get commissioned in all different ways, right? But this artist here, this is an artist. We had a sale. The first of his work that I saw in person was several months ago. I auctioned a little piece called Grapple Shot. So now you know who the artist is. It's the same artist that did Grapple Shot, Alan Pollock. Alan Pollock, master artist. He can paint both traditionally, obviously, at an unbelievable level that looks like photograph quality. You know, like it's kind of like the Atlas Thorne altars. When you look at the cards, like you can't even comprehend how someone can paint that immaculately and like absolutely perfectly. You really can't believe it until you see it in person. I was actually at the IX Art Show 2 years ago, and I was talking with Alan, and I was leafing through just his prints actually, and you can even tell from a print, oftentimes, if the original piece was hand painted, because you could still kind of see the brushstroke vibe or some of the imprecision in some ways, you know, that kind of happens. Some is like part of the natural style of the artist, but oftentimes you could tell, right? I was going through his, and I legitimately cannot tell what was traditional and what was digital, because he's like a master at digital as well too. He's very talented and very versatile, and he's had a great career as a result of that. But he was going through and he's like, yeah, Mike, this one's digital, that one's traditional. And I was like, really? Holy shit. Like some of the traditionals, I was like, that one? But that's like how his sorcery pieces are too. And the first one I saw Grapple Shot and I was like blown away. I was like, man, you see it on the card? And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. You know, like, cause I have a certain style. Like I typically like certain aesthetic pieces, natural beauty pieces that tell a story. I don't know. Like I have diverse taste, but I also in some ways have more specific tastes. So some of his concepts like are not pieces I would collect and display, and others were. And like there were a few that like I kind of were interested in, and the wife nixed a couple. But now seeing them, I've grown like a real appreciation for all of them because of just his mastery of the craft. So here we go, guys. This is a really amazing piece. I teased it on the thumbnail, as you might have expected. So this is the original painting for Drown. And you see my lights ruining everything. The overhead lights. This is Drown by Alan Pollock. And actually I want to get it out of the direct overhead light for a moment because maybe you can better appreciate the color choices he did here with the light coming down from the surface overhead. And then on the bottom, when you look into the deep, sometimes you see the deep blue of the ocean, or in the depths of the ocean, it could sometimes look black or blue. It really depends, right? Like based on visibility, clarity. On this one, it's got like a bluish green element. This is actually definitely more of a bluish green. It's almost like a deep green at the bottom here. But the blend from the light and the way the light rays come down, and then what happened, like the perspective is really clever, right? Because like in the deep dark elements gives you some beyond just the perception, the depth perception of distance from the surface. You also get an appreciation from that, from how dark this is, which means she's fairly deep under the surface, right? Because it looks like a pretty clear water scene here otherwise. So she's fairly deep, and then as you go deeper, the detail gets a bit more obscured, right? It's deeper down also by her legs, and then this one kind of fades out onto the side. So you know she's like really deep, and you kind of have this like look, like the focal point from above with the light highlighting a figure. I actually thought this was very graceful and beautiful. My wife thought it was a little dark. She didn't want it on her walls, but like it has like this beautiful, graceful aspect of it just by the serenity, the look of serenity on her face, right? Take a look here. Let me zoom in. You really get that, even though she's just kind of like accepting her fate, right? Or maybe already passed out. And just like you could tell, let me go back to some better lighting here now. Just what I'm talking about with the absolute perfect, immaculate quality that Alan paints with. And even, I guess you could you pick up on that from all the detail, like in her dress, her outfit, you know, her posture, her legs, the color, the light beams coming down. But look at the detail in the hair too. The brush strokes really capturing the essence of her drifting or falling, being submerged underwater, and the hair kind of lifting. As you can kind of tell, she's been falling, but her hair's not like straight up, right? It's not like a rapid ascent where she's still falling. She's already submerged. So the hair is kind of like coming off to the side. It's really like really smart choices. I really wonder if he used a photo reference for this, or if this was just creative ingenuity and really thinking through the elements, right? In this case, the element of water. And it's kind of interesting because they just did an Arthurian Legends reveal where that was an underwater scene too, and it was a much different aspect of what's going on with that and the way he captured movement underwater in the new Arthurian Legends piece. So it's really an incredible piece. No one teases like Mike does. The only thing that is manipulated is all of us. Mike knew how to draw us in. We'll get to the manipulation. I always showcased. So this is the painted original. This will be coming to auction. I got to talk to the seller. We got to figure out what kind of reserve he wants to put on this, what kind of strategy he wants to do with the open. But there's more to the story on this, guys. This is the original painting, right? But what we also have here, and then we'll get into the discussion topic. I'm going to slide this aside. This is on this very thick artboard that's going to get completely butchered by this light. Look at that. That's awful. That's terrible. You hate to see it. Come on. Put that light way off into the distance there. I don't know. It's as far as I could go without melting my paint on the wall. All right. So we're going to put the piece aside there for a moment. Okay? So I'll get some good pictures so you guys can appreciate the natural beauty of it. All right. So it's not going to be just the painting that's offered. For one, there's a few other items in this offer. It's the ultimate collection package. So there's some guys in the Collector Art House Discord and in the Sorcery Contestable community group. I shared what they shared with me in the Discord with their permission. So this one, it comes with the certificate of authenticity, the drown painting, oil on hardboard, done in 2020. So a couple years preceding alpha. Comes with the COA, and it's 11 by 14 oil on hardboard. This one-of-a-kind original oil painting created by Alan Pollock for Sorcery Contested Realm CCG. All copyright and reproduction rights are reserved by Eric Olofsson and Nicholas Reynolds. Signed by Alan. Dated June 13, 2022. Interesting piece of history there. Wow. We're coming up on 2 years to the date that he actually finished the painting on this one. And you see the digital scan of it. So, not all artists do the COA. It's a nice to have. It's not necessarily a necessity. Oftentimes you get a signature on the piece itself. And you do have that here as well, too, on Alan's piece. You have the Pollock. He signs with his last name and the date. So it says, it's not coming across too good. Pollock 22. So 2022. You see the colors here too, the different hues of green. It's really awesome. This was actually, I'll have to see if our friend here, you know what? Let me see, because he actually had this framed. And this guy has immaculate taste too. He's out in Europe, really great guy, friend of mine for a long time. And I'm going to check on the Facebook group page here, because he did a beautiful job framing this piece. Let me see. Posted by... can't sort by an individual. Oh, here we go. Look at this, guys. Take a look at this. This is awesome. So he didn't want to ship it with the framing because it's very dangerous to ship a framed piece with glass. So he took it out of the frame and it's going to be offered unframed. And then you guys can whoever wins the auction or the sale, we'll see if he wants to do like a... pre-sale window like we did with Sir Tristan to start fielding offers. You guys can always submit an offer once I reveal a piece and tease it until it goes to auction. Obviously, then it's just gonna, whatever happens in auction will happen. But take a look at this piece. So if you take a look, we'll go full screen on this. He had this amazing frame and it always looks great with matting, but I love this, like you can do this double matting. And sometimes, I don't know about oftentimes, I'll say sometimes people use two different hues of color, like on the thinner inner frame, and you can get like a very thin inner frame. That's, sometimes people do like a centimeter, right? And then like a thicker inch or a couple inches on the thicker frame. So the frame itself was this is kind of like a more classy type look, classic look, where you have like a fairly low profile, thin frame, but it looks very neat and clean, right? And then it has this really nice double white accent border and the double matting, which gives it a little more depth and character and really rounds out the piece. It makes it feel larger, but it makes it feel very clean and neat. And that's a style you can go with, or sometimes people go with like a more ragged or classic look. You pick classic or modern, depending on the taste of your, I don't know. I'm not an interior designer, but the ambiance, just the style of your home and what you're going for. There's a lot of different ways to go with framing, which makes it pretty interesting. But yeah, it's a really great frame. I thought that was worth showing to kind of give you an idea of what that piece could look like if you went that route. So let me remove that off the screen and go back to the overhead cam. So that's not it. We got the original painting. We have the. This is really awesome, guys. This is gonna be Ultimate Collection. So I was saying, guys were posting their original painting with all the different variants of the card too, and you could frame it. I think he was that one. He collected all the different variants. Excuse me. But you could, some people frame with those different card variants, and that's a way to go with it. But he collected all the different variants as well. And these are going to be included in the auction with the painting, right? So it's all the different variants of the card. And I want to show you this too, because it's truly like every variant. It's really impressive, the collection he acquired on this. So Drowned, and this one here is the sample card. So this is going to be really interesting. I don't want to tease that other one too quick. So Drown, you could tell that's a sample card because it has, I don't know if you guys can see too well, it has the copyright symbol down here, art, copyright, Alan Pollock. That was how the sample cards were before they went with the alpha logo. And it's a ordinary card as a sample. And it says Ordinary Magic of Watery Descent. You know, so that's what the painting is articulating, the watery descent. Target minion on a water site is submerged. In the darkening deep they dreamed. So she's got this dreamy look, right? Again, we said like she's kind of calm in the face, naturally accepting the descent as it's submerged under the water site. So that's really powerful and beautiful. So you have, that's going to come with the sample card. And then in this one, he packages very nicely. I use these team bags as well when I ship. So we have this looks like it's the beta foil. So you have a beta foil. And now you can see like how it changed for alpha and beta. Ordinary Magic of Downward Descent, that's the same. Submerged target minion or artifact if able. So it's extended to artifacts. And they got rid of the flavored text, coincidentally. So you see the full art on the card. It looks quite different from the painting. It looks more bluish and more deeper blue. You don't get the full appreciation for the greenish. The greenish color on this is phenomenal. Like when I get pictures of that, you're really going to see the difference and be impressed. All right, so you got the beta foil. You got the beta non-foil. So you got both variants here. See normal card back, beta and beta. All right, so put that back in the team bag. Keep those nice and secure. So we got pennies within top loaders within team bags. That's always how I ship too. And then we have the alphas. So you got an alpha version, alpha foil version. This should be the alpha foil and alpha. Oh, am I on the wrong side of the stickiness? All right. So we have both variants of alpha, both variants of beta. We looked at the beta, now here's the alpha foil. Interesting choices on the foils, because he didn't just decide to do the light beams, you know? It has like a more foiling effect and a lighting effect on her dress as well. The full art and then the alpha non-foil. So pretty sweet. Now, so I kind of showed one of the, I mean, a sample card, even at the ordinary rarity. We're going to learn more about this on Sunday. We have our next sample pack break on Sunday. And spoiler alert, we're going to have like a pretty significant guest. Two very significant guests. We're going to have Eric, the guy that does the spreadsheets for the actual break itself. But in my opener, we're going to have a big-time guest, guys. Big-time guest. Alan is going to be at the Sorcery Spring Social. I'm going to have another artist from the Sorcery Spring Social. But we'll talk about that separately. So you have the sample card. Very, very rare, these sample cards, at all rarities. So it's really special to own that. And then, notice the square corners. We have an Alan Pollock artist proof. Alan Pollock artist proof. His artist proofs, guys, are amazing. And this is a painted proof by Alan. He went all out with the signature. He went with the shadow, black and gold. So you got the signature on front, and then the artist proof. Alan Pollock, done in February 2024. Is it the February or number 2? I don't know if he numbered his. I'd have to go look at more of his copies. Yeah, I think it's copyright February 2024. So it's a different vantage point. of the woman submerged here, which is really interesting. A whole different take on the card. You know, I think he gave him artist choice on this one. And again, his artist proofs are like top notch too. They're truly like miniature paintings, and he puts a lot of care and detail into those. I've seen him do many live Instagram streams where he talks about his process. He shows his process. You get to watch it. The guy's just a master artist that's been doing it for decades. So we got the artist proof, the sample card, the alpha non-foil, the alpha foil, the beta non-foil, and the beta foil, and of course the Big Kahuna, the original painting. So 6 cards, 2 extremely rare cards, the sample and the artist proof, and then the 1 of 1 original painting from Sorcery Alpha. We don't see a lot of Sorcery Alpha paintings come to market. Sometimes they sell behind closed doors, you know, like private sales. And a lot of people know who has what at this point. And they get sold privately, or, you know, when they come to auction, it's kind of like fair open opportunity for all. So a great set, great exciting offer. I was really excited to see this one in person, and it's gonna look, it looks really impressive in person. I thought about, I don't know if he wants to wait all the way till Baltimore to kind of for me to bring it there and showcase it. So I'm gonna get some really good pictures. It might come as soon as this weekend, believe it or not, or probably within the next week. I got to, again, talk to the seller and kind of see what he wants to do with it. But look, take it all in one more time. Amazing piece by Alan Pollock. It's on very thick, hard board. And it frames beautifully, like you saw in the Facebook community group, if you guys want to go check that out and look at that a little more. And it's the COA, the Certificate of Authenticity. All right. All right, guys, so we're going to put that aside for now. Interesting take there, Kevmo. So the question is, market manipulation is the topic at hand. Are the prices for cores and stone manipulated? Kevmo's take: no. Good cards cost more money. Rare cards cost more money. Good rare cards cost money. That's not manipulation. That's called supply and demand. Kevmo? I agree with that, but it doesn't answer the question of manipulation. Do you want to come on live right now? You want to talk about this, dude? Do you want to talk about it? We could talk about it. You want to come on? I'll send you an invite. You want to come on live? We'll talk about it? It's not a challenge. It's an invitation. I'm very nice and friendly. Me and Ivan. We're like boys that go way back. Ivan. People thought he was Ivan the Terrible from Vikings. Comes on. He's a gem of a guy. Super nice. Cordial. Friendly, even. It's like a frog that splashes in a deep end. That's all. I don't know if I can match your energy on this one, Mike. My energy is like a drowning, submerging woman. A corpse drifting to the bottom of the ocean. That's what my energy is like right now. My throat hurts. My eyes hurt. My whole face hurts. My eyes, my forehead. I'm feeling weak and thin. Maybe even chubby. I feel like I got a dad bod next to this amphibian right here. Look at this guy. Never misses legs day. Every once in a while he skips calves. But he squats all day long, baby. All day. Front squats, back squats, hack squats, sumo squats. He knows the way. Underwater, weighted dumbbell curls. This frog does not mess around. So Kevmo, if you want to come on, man, just come on. Talk about it. Otherwise, you're just going to look at this frog and hear me talk. I'm feeling like the painting, man. Feeling just like that painting. I'm kind of giving up. Kind of just drifting. So, let's talk about Ivan here. Yeah. So the idea is, people are saying, here's the deal. How could we frame this? Kevmo, think about, do some soul searching. See if you want to man up and be a man. Do something with your life. And come on the Collector Art House live, unannounced, unplanned, unscripted, winging it, live show. And talk about, is this the most manipulated game in the history of TCGs? People are saying, you bastard, what are you up to? What are you even saying right now? Why would you say these things? Because people are saying these things. I'm just addressing what the people are claiming. Come on, like, what are we going to talk about? All right, so what we're going to do, let me close out the Discord. We don't need the dust door. We got the Bills 2024 schedules here. Arizona at home. Oh, Baltimore. At Baltimore. September 29th. There it is, baby. There it is. Sunday night game. Oof. I don't sleep, so that one's probably doable. Dan, when are we going to Kansas City? We going to Kansas City? We always play in Kansas City. They never come to us. Oh, they're coming to us. November 17th, right before the bye week. Right before the bye week. Could smash Dan in the mouth like a jacked frog. All right, so what we want to do is we want to go to collectorarthouse.com. Who's Josh Allen going to go throw? You want to know who Josh Allen's going to throw to? I'll show you who's going to throw to. I actually did a playbook diagram of the Bills' current offensive game plan. Here it is. You got a slant route to wide receiver 3. You got a deep route to wide receiver 3. You got an outside dig to wide receiver 3. You got a deep up the middle post pattern to wide receiver 3. You got an inside skinny post or an outside to the sideline post to wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 3, or deep over the middle, right middle to wide receiver 3, or you got a hook to wide receiver 3, or a deep down the sideline streak pattern to wide receiver 3. And that is the Bills' 2024 game plan. Got wide receiver 3s for days. Kincaid is good. Kincaid is really good. You run it through the running back and the tight ends, and you're good to go. Play some defense. Josh Allen, truck some guys like this frog. No problem. No problem, baby. We'll be just fine. Don't worry about it. The young guys will come around. All right, so we're going to the Alpha set. You go to Collector's Corner, Alpha set, and here's the data. Here's the here's the table we want to look at. It's probably marginally visible at best. So why is Sorcery TCG ripe for manipulation? So when I was talking to Ivan last night, we kind of talked through this a little bit, and I made the point that we know from Alpha, don't set beta aside. You can't, I don't think it's viable to manipulate beta just because we don't know the print run. I think there's a lot of copies of singles out there. Certainly the foils are rare, and even in beta, it's really hard to pull the foils. It's hard to stack many copies of those, but it's harder to do a targeted strategic buyout when you're shooting in the dark on supply. Maybe you can like analyze supply and demand largely, well, both really. I mean, through TCG Player, you can see supply, you can see available listings, you can see sold listings to understand liquidity, demand, kind of valuations, what price people are willing to pick it off for and buy it for and target things. But we're going to talk mostly about Alpha because in Alpha, we know that there are... You distract me, guys, in the chat. In Alpha, there were 29,000 boxes printed for the Kickstarter. And they said that'll be it. We will not reprint. It's a one-time print for Kickstarter. So roughly 29,000 booster boxes. We know the pull rates at the different rarity levels and for the foils versus the non-foils. So we get back into the data here and say that here's the set composition. So when you say set composition, that is the number of individual cards at each rarity level. So in the Alpha set, you have 403 total cards. You have 88 ordinary cards, distinctly different ordinary cards, 128 exceptional cards, 103 elite, 67 uniques. Very important because we're going to talk about the uniques specifically in this manipulation buyout theory. All right, you have the four elemental avatars that exist only in foil. All right, only in foil, the 7 Pinu elemental avatars. You have the Sorcerer avatar, and then you have the 12 basic sites. So you have 403 foils, okay? And then you have from the 29,000 print run and the pull rate data. I think I have all the assumptions here. So Pathfinder is one of the avatars that's accounted for. It's counted as an ordinary, or no, the Pathfinder is a unique rarity. It's the only avatar that is a unique rarity. The Sorcerer avatar is an ordinary rarity, and then all other avatars are elite rarity. So that includes the 4/7 Pinu, foil, elemental avatars, and then the others. Death Speaker, Enchantress, Battle Mage, Elementalist, and Seer. Right? So roughly 29,000 booster boxes printed, 39 booster packs per box, 15 cards per pack. And then I guess, I should go back and list the pull rates. I thought I had the pull rates on here. But it's I always forget if it's 1 in 4 or 1 in 5. There's I think it's 1 in is it 1 in 4 for foils and 1 in 5 for a unique versus an elite. Anyway, they announced what it was at all the rarity levels, and then foils versus unique, foils versus non-foils. And this is the raw population numbers that you come up with for non-foils. So even those are not like wildly large, like the unique non-foils, 3,376, fairly low number, right? And you go to elite, it's a little more than double, 8,784. And then a larger leap as you go to exceptional and ordinary. But there are there's tons of elites and exceptionals. So acquiring like all the individual copies is very challenging, especially now come over to the foil column and you have let's go from most rare to least. The uniques, 248 copies. 248 copies of each of the 67 uniques, based on pure pull rates. If you open every single box, all 29,000, there would be 248 Philosopher's Stone foils, 248 Kythera Mechanism foils, 248, etc., all the unique foils, right? The elites, only 466, so you're still at less than 500, which is still phenomenally rare. Did Kevmo say he wants to go? Is Kevmo dodging me? I want to make sure I didn't miss a response. Just got off a long day of work. I don't think I can bring my A game on this one. If I go on about to defend a point, I'm going to want to come in with data and research the matter. I do no research on this channel. I just wing it, baby. I just wing it. Even on like, what did I say, about 8-9 hours sleep over the last 48 hours, everything hurts. Everything hurts. My eyes, my forehead, my throat, my neck, my back. And the rest of the song. And the rest of that song, only Dan knows what I'm talking about. My neck, my back. You got to be a middle-aged Sorcery fan to know the rest of that song. If you're one of these 20-nothings, you have no clue what I'm talking about. And you shouldn't know, because you can't handle it. Guys like Kevmo's like 22 years old. He has no idea what I'm talking about. He's only seen people like me on TV. He hasn't experienced real life yet. He doesn't know. Don't look it up, Kevmo. You're young. You're innocent, impressionable. It could be very damaging. You could turn into a dark, cynical bastard like me. You got to be careful out there. It's a wild world. It'll beat you down. A lot of haters. A lot of unclean songs there. Look for the clean version at Tower Records next time you're out there. All right, 248 unique foils. 466 elites, 780 exceptional, 1,164 ordinary. So at the foil ordinary rarity level, there's less of those than the total population of unique non-foils. So say it again, 1,164 foil ordinaries. There's 3 times as many unique non-foils. So at all rarity levels, phenomenally rare. Even exceptional, there's less than 1,000 copies of each exceptional, and there's 128 exceptionals. So you want to talk about the difficulty in chasing a full set and why that should carry a premium. Like Ivan and I talked yesterday about how we thought Henry Cho knows that song. This is Fight Song. His spirit animal is his neck is back, and the other things. At least 1 or 2 of the other things are his spirit animal. I'm pretty sure of it. I can tell. He's standing tall and proud in front of that building he's in his avatar. I think he's got a full suit on. He's not messing around. One of those 4 items is the spirit animal, without a doubt. Kevmo has no idea. So there you have it, guys. Like insanely rare numbers. So when it comes to when I heard these numbers, I was like, all right, so the Kickstarter's closed. You told us what the pull rates are. You told us, and now you told us what the total print run was from the Kickstarter outcome. It's published right on the Kickstarter page, so we knew. And then they said there was some additional, they weren't going to print more, but they were keeping some contingency. You know, if stuff's lost or damaged or whatever, and they got to replace it or whatever. Promotional things for giveaways, whatever various needs. So you stick to the simple 29,000, you come up with 248 copies of each of the 67 unique cards in the alpha set. So, should I show it, guys? Should I show it? Let me look at this. Here. Let's look at this snow. Look at this angry face on it. What is going on with this girl? Caitlin Clark breaks unbelievable WNBA record. Good for her. All right, so I gotta stop getting distracted. It's real good. So what I want to do here is go to Collector Art House Discord. I don't know if I want to show the person. Caitlin Clark. Who the hell is that? Who is that person? Why? I just thought it was some very angry person, but apparently Caitlin balls hard in the paint. I had no idea until just now. As fate would have it. All right, so the Doomsday device. We're looking for the Doomsday device. And if I knew how to use Discord, it would be phenomenally valuable. And I would find things quickly. On the fly. Unannounced. 22-year-old Kevmo. Working hard for the money. Lost in lack of thought. Because he's had no prep. And he hasn't seen the real world just yet. Only pieces. Very impressionable little boy. I don't know, guys. I don't know. All I'm doing is busting Kevmo's chops. I couldn't find the picture. But there's a picture out there. And let me tell you, there's like pages of Doomsday Prophet. The Doomsday Prophet, right? So this is what happens. 248 copies of the foil. People have multiple copies. Even the average person may pull multiple copies, coincidentally, across a few boxes. A lot of people had a few cases, you know, because the pricing on Kickstarter was very accessible. It was about $130 a box, as I recall. So a case, like $700. You got a bunch of middle-aged, drowning, half corpsey, highly corpsey individuals like myself. They're like, 700? Take 10. Give me 10. Give me 10 of those. Some guys won 10. You know, I was conflicted early on. I was like, should I spend 10 grand on this Avatar pledge? Or should I have gotten like 10 cases? Think about it. Like the ROI, like on 10 cases, or just like, the thing is with 10 cases, you can't get the set because the cards are so stupid rare, you know? And plus I'm an art guy, so it's like without question the right call. But you talk about like a person that's like speculating, investing, or just trying to like get an angle on getting a strong position. Maybe they're just like a passionate collector and they just want to have a lot of the cards. Initially, I just wanted like all the foils because they had the full arts. I wanted like a full set of all the full arts. I wanted to enjoy all the art through the cards. And then somehow that evolved into like going really hard on the paintings and really being into the paintings. And, you know, I started caring a bit less about the cards. But if you're going hard on the card, a lot of people did go hard on the cards. They ended up with like multiple copies. They opened up many boxes. It's still almost impossible. Really, really like literally practically impossible. You have to open, there's people that opened hundreds of boxes and still did not get a full complete set. They had to trade for pieces within the set. This is the level of rarity that's in this game. So you have that coupled with the scarcity, the illiquidity. There's very few unique foils offered anywhere on any of the forums at any given time. There's always some offered, right? But to find like the one you need of the 67, like how often are you seeing the high end ones? Just start there. The Philo Stone, you see that from time to time. In many cases, it's a graded copy now. In other cases, it's raw. You kind of get a mix. Different grading companies, different preferences. But a lot of people don't even bring those to market because it's the Philosopher's Stone. It's like the grail of the game. It's like giving away the Black Lotus. People perceive it as like giving away the Black Lotus in year 1 or 2 of the game, and like the potential for success. Not saying it's going to happen or it's even likely to happen. With the TCG, there's tons of risks and many levels of risk, right? But the potential that it could is enough for people to hodl so freaking hard on that. Hold on for dear life, right? With the dream and the vision that maybe it could happen. And they just can't live with the fact that if they let it go, then it absolutely cannot happen for them. They might get priced out. It's just so illiquid, it's really hard to reacquire. So they just pass on it. They hold the card if they get it. They won't give it up. Sometimes they'll get an offer they can refuse, but that's why you have illiquidity of those high-end Grail cards. The Philosopher's Stone, the cores. Let me tell you, I've sold a lot of cores, guys. I've sold several through auction, and or consignment or middleman deals, and I've seen a lot like posted across the social medias. And there's a thing with the Aquamarine core. I want to say the Aquamarine core, and it's really that one. Let me go to the Benson page. I'm going to have to zoom back out for this one. Back to 100, Sorcery cards, Melissa Benson. Here you go. The Amethyst core, see how light it is? I don't know if it's a function of it being light. It's very unforgiving to imperfections, especially with roller lines. You get roller lines on the card. I've seen roller lines right down the middle of the freaking core, or anywhere on the core, or anywhere near it. As the focal part of the art, you want that to look really crispy, pristine, right? Of course, you don't want roller lines anywhere. But for some reason, it might be the lightness, the unforgiving nature of that aspect of it, that you really, if it was darker sometimes, and it's light enough, you could kind of get away with it with the naked eye. But it's very distinct. There's many versions of this that had roller lines on the Amethyst and on the Aquamarine as two of the lighter cards. And then the Onyx core, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of issues with the Onyx core. These are all just coincidental. You can get roller lines on any card. But like I say, the lighter colors seem to be a little more unforgiving. The Ruby core I've seen generally in good shape as well. But, sometimes there's issues with the Amethyst and the Aquamarine. But going back to it, so those are very rare and illiquid because people want to hold on to those. They don't want to give up the grails that are going to be hard to reacquire. And then there's also the Backstab and the Devil's Egg. So some people think they're short printed, and there's a lot of anecdotal evidence to support that fact, right? Or that idea, that notion, that theory. Others, even the perception that it could be short printed is enough for people to behave as if it is. Right? So again, they're not going to sell it. They're not even going to bring it to market at all. So you're not going to see 248 of those just pop up. On top of that, they're going to price it at wild extreme levels. It's wild and extreme if it's not short printed and it's just the idea of it being short printed, because then in theory it shouldn't be printed more than the other exceptionals. But supply and demand has a psychological aspect to it. Collecting TCGs, the valuation, pricing, demand driver is highly psychological. People's passion, desire, the factors of demand, what makes people want something, desirability, meta level, meta relevancy, power level, scarcity, difficulty to acquire, demand. If other people want it, you want it more. That's a psychological human psychology. That's what drives things. So a lot of the high-end Grail cards, so to speak, the more desirable cards, people don't bring them to market. They want to hold out. There's a lot of people that they'll ignore risk factors. They'll ignore good opportunities to take gains along the way, like if they have multiple copies or whatever the case may be. And they just hold on, expecting it's going to go up, 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 and up and be a wildly successful game. And they don't want to... They're very, they'd almost rather, it's easier to accept a missed opportunity, a potential gain. So you didn't sell at the peak, it came back down. It's kind of a bummer, but it's something you could accept more. It hurts more to sell too low and then be like, damn it, I've let it go. If I just held on another month, another year, another decade. That's the psychological trap that people get caught up in, right? That's why they don't sell. That's why they hold. That's why they hate selling anything. I hate selling anything. I get psychologically, emotionally attached. Certainly to like paintings and artist proofs, because they're all, listen, there's 29 artist proofs, 25 that went to the artist, 4 that went to the top 4 avatar backers, because they got a complete set, just white backs, no art, but 29 copies. When they're white backs, there's 29 copies. After an artist paints on them, they're a unique one of one, you know? Yes, there was like 29 of those printed with a white back that were the same, but now they've been augmented and they've become something different. You know, they've transcended to just a machine card, from a machine card to literally a work of art. It's a miniature painting or a detailed sketch or whatever the case may be, and they become uniquely one of ones. So yeah, as Anglerworm often likes to slap in my face. Really hard to sell a one of that you likely will never see again. Oh, I thought you were busting my chops about the numbering. Yeah, so I work with a lot of the artists, and yeah, again, this was debatable, like whether you want to number them 1 to 25, and then like people were like, well, there's really 29, but the artist only had 25, so it's kind of confusing. Is there some people don't know if there's 25 or 29. There is 29, 25 given to the artists. So a lot of them are numbering theirs 1 to 25. But yeah, the 20, the asterisk with the 29 plus, because does Eric have a set? Does Simon? I don't know. Did he hook up does Nick Reynolds? There might be a few sets out there between those guys. We don't know. I mean, what they released to the public was 25 were given to each of the artists, and then 4 to the top backers. So long story short, I work with a lot of the artists. I think we're going to be, it's ultimately up to them. They're going to decide what they want to do, but we'll probably rethink. Do we want to bother numbering it for future sets? Because presumably it seems like they're not going to get artist proofs for beta, which is really interesting. Because then like the alpha, the artwork, the printed artwork, the original illustration for those, that might be a one and done. You know, there's always a chance that they can do a revised set, but it appears that since they did not reprint or print additional artist proofs for beta, one would logically assume that if he prints a revised and like he goes the Magic route, let's say, and he does a 3rd edition, 4th edition, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. In Magic, they kept giving those artists more and more proofs of that same artwork. In Sorcery, it appears, at least in the early going, that they're only going to get these 29 copies. And I don't want to say that definitively because nothing is definitive. And freaking Eric changes his mind every 2 hours in Sorcery, you know? Dates of when things are going to happen change every millisecond. It's a new plan, revised plan, big update, So nothing is with certainty, but the anecdotal evidence suggests, because we're many months into, what are we, like 7 months into beta now, and we have seen no additional artist proofs. So it stands to reason that we had alpha proofs. You're not going to see it reprinted with the same art, anecdotally, so far, that appears to be the case. And then we move on to Arthurian Legends. So they're extremely rare and scarce, and the opportunities are few. 29 of these bad boy big Brobdingnags. If you love the Brobdingnag, they're scarce. Similar principle. And once it's gone, you give up this guy like I did, like a moron, saying, oh, Mikhail, that wasn't the one for me. Man. I don't know. It really matched well with that Spirit Destiny. I like this one. It speaks to me. His face. We have similar face. Similar mouth structure. We got beady buggy eyes like this. We radiate splashy yellow and misty green. Space is my spirit animal. This is me. This is me most days. And it's gone. It'll be gone. Dan will probably buy it, or this guy Tux, who's been on it in the Discord, or somebody else who emerges in the last 10 minutes and extends the auction for another hour and a half. And I'll never see it again, because they'll take it to the grave with them, because once you give it up, it's interesting with paintings too. Like the artist, they sell it, right? And there's been these like levels, these price appreciations, these legs higher, the artists, the paintings were very accessible. Like early on, the price points were lower, and then the demand just went nuts, right? Tick, 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 up, up, up. They keep taking these legs higher. We just had a record sale of the Sir Tristan by a very wide margin, very significant sale. So just go by public data. We had the Immortal Throne, $11,000. We had the Grapple Shot, and that topped off in auction at like 7 and change or something. It didn't quite hit reserve, as I recall. Or no, maybe no. What happened was there was a jump bid, private bid. So the sale price was public, and it was like eight or so, like 8 and change. So I can't say that. I just can't say who bought it because it was a private sale. But there's an $8,000 sale. There's been a lot of sales in that price range recently, 6 to 10 or 12 ish. I'll say it's probably on average 6 to 10, depending on the piece, the significance, popularity of the artist, popularity of the piece, all the different factors that go into art valuation. But there's been these legs higher. So my point is they've changed hands once because there's been, as that happens, people, even if they were very attached to this piece, like this one with the drown, right? This person did not want to sell this, but things happen in life. You have reasons you want to sell, and opportunities emerge. And when it takes like such a leg higher, where that becomes very significant money for somebody and can really help their family or help like other costs they have in life, other opportunities they have with that money, they sell it. And then when they sell it in that 6 to 10 range, the stickiness of it becomes exponentially higher, in my opinion, right? Like if your cost basis and your entry point, let's say it was like 1 to 2,000, and you have an opportunity to now sell for 6 to 10, you're going to be way more likely to cash that in than the new person buying in the 6 to 10 range. Because now to get such an incremental magnitude of change to really move the needle, unless they need the money for something, right? They're not going to be highly motivated to sell, or unless things do happen where there's a new opportunity. A lot of times in the art collecting scene, people do rotate in and out of pieces, but you now have like almost like a new floor, presuming demand stays equal, supply's the same. It's a one-of-one unique piece. But to move that piece, they're going to want to be whole as much as possible and gravitate to around that price point. So the opportunity diminishes. And when you're at that price level, once it changes hands, it's going to be very difficult to see that piece again. So there becomes like an urgency to acquire it, and also like an urgency to retain it. People that own it and have paid that much at that price level are really going to be reluctant to let it go. Other people that have had original pieces at those lower price points, then they start to move things or trade one for one with other pieces they really desire instead of paying those new price points. We see that too, where people sell it off to raise cash to move into a different piece. But so they become available less, even like opportunity to buy wise, and then accessible less because the increased valuation and price point. And the similar thing happens with these cards too, and people get attachments. Like now we've seen such a leg higher. There was like an early wave where have you guys noticed that like I want to say like 6 months to a year ago, we were seeing a lot more alpha curios. Let's talk about alpha curios for a moment. Similar principle. Those were available much more often. You'd see those on the Discord, and people were like, "Oh man, I don't know. Do I want to pay like $1,000, $1,300, $1,500 for these curios?" The alpha ones, right? And then now we've seen some go for let's talk about the Eric's Curiosa. I made this graphic of all the sales. I've sold that card. I've sold like 20% of the known discovered copies of the Eric's Curiosa sketch card alpha foil somehow. I think I've sold it 5 times, I think. And the first one sold for $1,200. It was really early on. And then there were sales that jumped to like $2,000. I wonder if I could find that quickly. It was a pretty interesting, it's a pretty interesting and personal DMs here. Pretty interesting historical Eric's Curiosa. Let me see if it'll find Curio. Posted by me. The sales history trend on that. Shoot, is it gonna ping off of that? The other thing I could do, let's go to my, hang on a second. Was it right there? Nah. I auctioned all those. Let's go to my Instagram here, guys. All right. So I do have a collector art. Oh, let's switch to collector art house media. Oh, I am on that. All right, collector art house media, Instagram, and then if I go to, I'm usually all right. Go to my profile. I should be able to find it here. Here we go. All right, collector art house media. So on July 5th of 2023, the first collector art house sale of the Eric's Curiosa auction, $1,200 it sold for. This was like almost a full year ago now. The market was at a different state, right? And then just a few months later, I don't know what was going on because just a month later in August, about 5 weeks later, it sold for $4,000. So it was either like a fluke and people weren't paying attention and we didn't have a high reserve because it didn't take that massive leap up just yet. There weren't a lot of sales of it. There wasn't a lot of price discovery. The that's one of the beauties of the auction. It really flushes out what the true valuation is on these very rare illiquid items because it's just purely driven by demand. There's not enough sales data points to even come up with a valuation basis, so people just stalemate. They don't make an offer. Oh, was it after? Yeah, maybe it was Gen Con. Good point, Lord of Itza. So there might have been heightened, I don't know, excitement coming off of Gen Con. Yeah, could have created more exposure to the game, to the card, people talking about it, people getting excited about sorcery. Those factors all matter, like the environment going on at the time, right? So it was at 1,200 just a month later. People are getting all jazzed up about Gen Con. Sold for $4,000. Then there was one that sold for, in fact, there was one in between here because I sold that one for $4,000, and then a local guy was like, I had this sketch card. I was like, what do you mean you got the sketch card? Eric's Curiosa, the Curio? And he was like, yeah. I was like, what do you mean? You just found it? Did you just open a box? He's like, nah, it was just there. I was like, what the? So like, what do you mean it was there? Like he opened it, he missed it somehow, or like maybe he didn't even know it was a curio. This happens sometimes. There was a guy. I'll get to the next story after that, but there was this $4,000 public sale, and then I ended up selling the other one privately for a price point in the threes. I'll say it was a private sale, so I can't disclose exactly what it was. It was between 3 and 4. So it was close to that price range. Very soon after, private sale, so not listed here. Then there was an auction on March 10th. It sold for $3,800, and then I just showed you guys we ran one in May, which was just like a week or two ago, and it sold for $3,030. So it's been fairly stable-ish in this 3,000 to 4,000 range. So really interesting, big time card, but it's interesting because this card has to be at least twice as rare as the Eric's Curiosa Alpha Foil card, which has 248 copies. And I don't think there would be anyone that'll tell you that they think there are close to 250 copies of the Alpha Curios. A lot of people think you're a whack job if you think there's 100. I think there's 100. Maybe even 100. And I also think maybe some are more rare than others, like the Brahm. I think the Brahm was probably short printed. And the Death Dealer, possibly. I don't know. The Death Dealer is a weird one because I think the average person that's not entrenched in the sorcery community like we are, they could easily overlook the Death Dealer. It's a non-foil card. Like a lot of people didn't know who Frazetta was until influencers or like content creator types started talking about Frazetta. So it's really interesting. I think the Death Dealer is a curio that could be overlooked, and maybe the pops of what we've found and discovered could be understated. But long story short, the TLDR on that is that these sketch curios are much more rare than the alpha foil version of Eric's Curiosa. So why is the alpha foil Eric's Curiosa selling for also in this price range? Do you think the curio is undervalued? It's more rare, but it's demand that drives the price, right? This was a public auction, 4 different public auctions here, collector art house auctions on a sorcery community Facebook group. It's the largest social community run forum in sorcery by a fairly wide margin, and then there's the sorcery buy, sell, trade marketplace group on Facebook that I created. There's about 3,500 in there. So there's close to 4,000 in the community group. There's 1,250-ish in the Collector Art House Discord. So you have like a footprint of 5,000 plus people that see this auction, right? When I auction on those platforms, I mirror them in both locations, and there's some overlap. So let's call it like, let's just say 4,000 or 3,500 to 4,000 ish, in that range, trying to back out the duplicity across the two. So it's the largest direct target sorcery market for a sales forum, auction or Discord marketplace or Facebook marketplace. It's the largest net out there, and they've consistently sold in this 3 to 4,000 range, and yet the alpha foil has also sold in that range. So that tells you that the demand is larger in theory for the alpha foil. I mean, it's not, I guess like what I'm saying is it's not purely driven by pop size or scarcity or rarity. It's very rare and far and few between that these come to auction. I think the price discovery on the sales history of this is a little different beast, because you really got to be in this. A lot of people are not on Facebook. If you go to Facebook, you can go to Facebook here, right? You go to Facebook and you go to the community group, and then you go to the search tab and you type Eric's Curiosa, right? And then it just filters by references to Eric's Curiosa, and you scroll through and you see me posting like a maniac all the time, right? But I'm also the guy that runs all the auctions too. So you could search by me, and you could find here. There's the latest auction that I ran, $3,030. This is all discoverable, invaluable price history, but a lot of people aren't on Facebook to go look for this, So it's curated naturally if you just join the Facebook group, which you should do. Like, you're missing a huge like data mining opportunity if you don't do it. Even if you hate Facebook, create like a burner account and just join the group. And if I reject you, it's probably because you got a shady ass burner account. I might look at your profile and be like, this fucking guy is like no avatar, or it's like an avatar of Jack Frog or something. Like, who is this guy? Count was made yesterday. So if you do that, just DM me if I don't let you into the group. But I'll let you back in, and then you can take advantage of this free like data store of like very valuable information. So here you go, the March 7th auction, $3,800. That was the winning bid. There's the copy. You can see the condition of it, clear as day. You keep scrolling through. Tony Sudlow, Francesca Berald, no big deal. So yeah, you scroll through, you find all the auctions that ever happened. It's like a free. Phil, what's up, man? My guy, English, it's late. You get it. I don't understand. I'm missing context there, pal. Yeah. This is the Sorcery Contested Realm community Facebook group that you want to go to find that. So anyway, you go find the data discovery, all the auctions, any card you want to know about. What's a card you guys want to know about auction history on? You want to know about butchered the comment. What's a card? Give me no, not the market group. I'm not so the market group that I own is let me clarify that, because there's some that are not moderated at all. I myself and I have a few other. Here you go. The Sorcery Contested. Look at this. See this logo? This is what you want to look for. Sorcery Contested Realm Marketplace Buy Sell Trade. This is my group that I created. See? Does it say group by Mike Servati? I didn't put it there. I did. It shows in the community group. But if you go to the community group here on the banner, it says, I think it's like a setting you can do just to make it clear. If you go to the community group, yeah, here, see, it says group by Mike Servati. That's me. That's me. Little baby girl, Mike Servati. But if you go to this Sorcery Contested Realm Marketplace Buy Sell Trade, there's like this, what is the other one called? Like Sorcery Buy Sell Trade Marketplace. There's these like also rans who try to like, this other freaking guy. Where's this other guy? Look at this guy. So I've had this seer, I was busting this guy's chop, because I've had this seer Dan Seagrave thing as the face of the community group since the beginning of time. And then I can't freaking find it. There's this other guy that has his marketplace. He uses the same freaking icon because he's probably trying to piggyback off of the size of my group or something and try to like mimic an affiliation is my dark conspiracy theory. But anyway, this buy sell trade group is the one I own. I have like another few moderators that help out with trying to weed out scammers. So if you report something is suspicious, we take care of it, or you DM me or one of the other admins, we take it seriously and we try to get rid of these scumbag scammers. And like we're diligent about people we accept into the group too. You can't catch them all, but there's certain things you could do. We use questions, upon sign up to kind of screen like these people seem credible. We'll take a quick look at their profile. Sometimes people have private profiles, fine, but other times you get these like goofy, just serious red flags with really wacky avatars and stuff like that. But anyway, you go to the community group is the answer to your question. And you want to look for this group, 3.9K members. We're going to be at 4,000 soon. So close. And then you just search here and you just search for a card, right? Devil's Egg Curio. I don't know if I sold any Devil's Egg Curio. So let's look for Death Dealer is a good one. Because we'll probably find, I think I sold some alpha foil ones. And let's go posted by you, which is me in this case, because I'm logged into my account. All right, so here we have the Curio version that I was showcasing when that came through, and I offered that for auction. So there's the original art for it. It's a beautiful library history too. Here you go. So I auctioned one on July 19, 2023. We sold it for $2,300 at that time. This was like almost a full year ago, So the earlier you are, the better pricing you get, like in a hot TCG that's exciting. Here you go. Look at this. This is really interesting. The Death Dealer, man. December of 2023. This was actually arguably a phenomenal offer and deal here. The Frank Frazetta Death Dealer Curio. This one, did this meet reserve? Oh, no, it didn't meet reserve, right? So I had to work. If it doesn't meet reserve, I work out a private deal after. So that protects the seller in the event of downside. So the top bid was $4,000. And then we ended up getting this sold privately with a valuation closer to market price. But there you go. So that's also another data point. Did it hit reserve or not? But if it sells privately, you don't get the data point benefit until it hits reserve. So here's another one. This one was in August of 2023. I sold another Alpha Foil Death Dealer for $2,100. And there it says reserve was met. So that is the actual sale price. Auction is closed. $2,100. Right? So that's the idea, There's great sales data, great way to data mine, like the history of what the pricing and valuation of these cards was going back into time. But getting back really quick, Philosopher's Stone here. See, I did this video montage. You type in Philosopher's Stone. This is the first hit that comes up. $16,500. The largest is a sample card version of the Philosopher's Stone. Absolute monster. Really big sale, the Gem Mint 10 that we offered, that one topped out at $5,300 at the time. Here you go. We have some artist proofs that we've offered, Severin and I. One of them sold raw for $6,000 back in August of 2023. This was probably the high sale for the Philosopher's Stone, $10,000 a year ago in July of last year. The market was super hot back then. This is a beautiful copy of this card too. This one looked really great, so this probably graded out very well. And even though that person paid a premium relative to current valuation of where it is now, the cornering on this, the edging, the surface of it, this card looks like so minty. And it did, if that person pursued grading on that, it probably did okay. Here's another one in July of last year, $8,250. $22.25 for the artist proof. I mean, that's low. That's stupid cheap in my opinion for this card. If you can get a raw copy of that card for $5,000 now, let's say at current valuation, and then you could get an artist proof, 29 copies that exist of this out in the public, out in the wild, and one of one hand painted, amazingly hand painted, no less, by the great Severin Pina, one of the most significant artists in Alpha, based on popularity and just like the significance of the cards she's done, the elemental avatars, the Philosopher's Stone, the key Thera mechanism. She's like immediately like an iconic artist, So her work, all of her work carries a premium, and her work like outside of Sorcery is very extravagant, she's a very accomplished artist, and she sells five-figure paintings all the time. So to get her art at a price point like that is great. That's why Rodney Matthews, like when he auctions his artist proofs, he wants a reserve of at least $1,000 on those, because he can sell sketches for like sometimes 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 sometimes, let alone original paintings for tens of thousands, or at least like several thousand. So to do the time to do a detailed piece, even on an artist proof, is valuable from an artist like that. So here's another one, 2,888 back in November. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I speculated on an Emerald Tablet card. We'll see if this comes to fruition in Arthurian Legends. This was back. Was this? Wow, that was back in March of 2022. I said maybe we'll see an Emerald Tablet in the future. So timestamp that one. Keep that in mind. Yeah, so you guys can search for things. Like my point on the 248 cards of the alpha foils. There are people. There's going to be a natural proclivity to stack duplicates of any given unique foil. Unique foils are going to be the targets, right? Because you can gatekeep, so to speak. People like this buzzy word, gatekeep. Ooh, gatekeeping bastard. You share exclusive information on your Patreon behind a paywall. You gatekeeping paywalling bastard. You add unique exclusive value to people who support you. You piece of shit. The psychology of like some of the scumbag haters in the TCG community are unbelievable. You gatekeeping scumbag. I don't offer artist proofs exclusively through the Patreon. I don't offer paintings exclusively, or really anything. Like I offer priority and exclusivity on special deals and collaborations I do with the artists, like products and fun art and things outside of the core direct sorcery related product. Like other endeavors that I do, and like me and the artists risk our time and our energy and our there's a cost, time cost, and a real cost, material cost, to do things like that. So that's not gatekeeping. That was just a side rant. But the gatekeep is a funny word. The word gatekeep is just like so misused and abused sometimes. But people are gatekeeping, so to speak. They're stacking. What I mean by that is they're buying multiple copies of alpha foil uniques to prevent people, not necessarily like directly to prevent people from acquiring full sets, but to force them. They are preventing it, to force them to come through them, or come through like a more limited number of sellers, suppliers, owners, sellers of these cards that own these cards, right? If you own 30 copies of a unique foil alpha card, you're in a power position, because if there are enough people that want, you're in a leveraged position, because you're in a position of power and leverage. Because if there's enough people that want to collect a full set and they need to get those uniques, which are very, very, very hard to pull. There's 248 copies in 29,000 boxes. So out of a total of 283,882 total alpha foil cards, there's only 248 of those 67 unique foils that you need to get your master set. And then you have some people that are going to be like, well, simple math. If that's the case, I'm going to go buy up a bunch of... This is what's happening. What sparked this was, if you go to my group here, people are like, oh, yeah, so you go get the Alchemy 9. You go get all the key theorem mechanisms. No, because that shit's expensive, right? No one's being like, I'm going to go buy 20 of the $5,000 raw copies of Philosopher's Stone, even if you could find that many. There's not that many on the market. What they're going to do is go and look at the Gilded Aegis. And they're going to be like, this scumbag, gatekeeper, paywalling Mike Servati won't sell me his painting of the Gilded Aegis. I'm going to go buy all the alpha foils because it's like $200. No one gives a shit about the Gilded Aegis. It's not protecting any avatars these days. You know? Protects a minion. Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares except the set collector that has to have that card to complete their set. And it's an accessible alpha unique foil because it costs $200. Any one of them that costs $200, people are going to scoop them up because it's a very minimal to barrier to entry. The hardest part is finding them and finding willing sellers of them. So if you can buy them all day for $200, $300 maybe, $400, you know, some people have the financial means to do that. You can afford 20 of those, right? What's 20 times 200? $4,000? Costs you probably at least double that to buy this painting. So you just buy 40 copies of the Gilded Aegis. And that might not be 40 people that need to go buy it from me to buy the set, but you can't find 40 I don't know. If there's 40 people that want to buy a complete set, you go to TCG Player, you're going to find 40 copies of an Alpha Foil Gilded Aegis. Even the worst ordinary foils, unique foils. This is a unique. You're not going to find it. There's not that many out on eBay. eBay plus TCG Player plus Discord Marketplace plus Facebook Marketplace. The one I created, the guy that lives in my shadow, stealing my Seer painting. You know, all the marketplaces combined. You're not going to find 40. So they got to go to the guy that has them, right? And that's the game people are playing. That's the game I think they're playing. Is there any information yet on beta print run? No. I don't really try to guess at that, you know, because like it's pointless. I don't think it matters. I think the way it matters is the way it manifests itself in the supply and demand dynamics and the secondary market valuation. That'll run its course, and the market will decide. Is the sorcery market large enough to absorb the number they printed? Yes or no? You know, if no, they printed too much. If yes, maybe they didn't print enough. And right now it's like a bit of a quandary because the singles are accessible price-wise, but the sealed product opening experience and the support of in-store gameplay is a very significant challenge, because where do you go if you're a store or an individual person just found out about sorcery? You want to open the boxes. Everyone's like, shit, the freaking box opening experience is awesome. You know, it's like really hard to get these foils. When you get them, they all look godly amazing. Like, oh, that's sweet. Like, how do I get them? Oh, I go to TCG Players. Freaking guy mails them to you in a doggy bag, sandwiched between a couple dirty ass pieces of cardboard. Stiffen it up a little bit. Plain white envelope, dirty cardboard inside. One card. That's not a box opening experience. People want to open boxes. They want to have fun opening boxes. They want to go into a store. They want to open packs and play sealed format and whatever. The full experience. It doesn't matter if it's accessible with singles. You know, you got to have boxes available to people. So they're in a bit of a quandary right now until Arthurian Legends comes out. There's more supply going to underserved markets, but ironically now, the U.S., the core, largest, biggest market, is now an underserved market. The LGSs in the U.S. are underserved. They need boxes for their local store communities. So what are they doing? They're buying them from the places they're going to, like in Europe, or individual single sellers. They're buying them from wherever they can get them. They can't get them anywhere in the U.S., not at scale. So they're buying them from Singapore. They're getting the summer sorcery cards, as they're calling them, because they're brighter, like the magic, the summer magic cards. I want Jussie Pilgus to do APs, says Kevmo. I've been teasing a Summer of Grails, guys. I'm not kidding when I say Summer of Grails. All right? Everything is coming. Everything. Almost everything. I don't know what Melissa Benson's doing with their paintings or artist proofs, but there's a lot of stuff coming. All kinds of great things. Are you saying the Aegis buyout is targeted to beta? I don't know why you'd try to buy out beta. It's just it's weird. I think beta's risky, just like Fab Unlimited was risky. We just don't know. People are leaning in too much, thinking, speculating on what the print run size was. Is it a collectible product? Is it a player-based product? I mean, they want to have enough out there for the players without disrupting, diluting, tanking, jeopardizing the secondary market and eroding consumer confidence. So, so it's a double-edged sword. How do you serve the stores without also running that risk? How much alpha is still sealed, and how many of those 248 copies will not see the light of day for some time? Yeah, very important factor. The 248 alone, if every single one was discovered, that is still an absurdly low number. So some fraction of that has been discovered, and some fraction of that is still in sealed boxes anywhere in the world. And there's all kinds of people in the world. There's some people that never sell, or they lose interest and they still just never sell. They go, it might as well be lost, damaged, or gone at that point. Those things will still happen. It doesn't matter that it's not 1993. People lose interest in games and they just, how much like stupid fab shit I could care less about that I have? Like, just don't care. It's not even worth my time to care, I had an opportunity. I traded some fab sealed cases for the Step Curio in beta from Truett Parish. Then I cared. If those opportunities emerge, but I don't seek it out, If people want fab, contact me. I don't have like a lot of like high-end singles. I've never been like a singles guy. I've never been so big into that per se. I got like some artist proofs and sealed product. Nothing too crazy, but a good amount of it that I'd be happy to trade. But yeah, those things are just lost. They stay sealed, or people open it, they put the cards away. They don't know what's good, what's not, or they just lose interest and don't care and don't want to deal with it. People's time is valuable, and their interests stray. And sometimes they just let it erode away for years, So there's way less than 248 copies of any of those uniques. So yeah, if you're going to speculate, alpha, because you have the data. This data here on this page, this is extremely powerful data. This right here, at all rarity levels, all these foils is your play on sorcery, not investment advice. Just a jackass on YouTube that doesn't sleep enough. Loves paintings. But you have real information here on supply. That's valuable. You don't have that in most games, In Fab, they announced the print runs. I don't know if they're still doing that, but it was a double-edged sword, and people speculating that they got burned. You can still get burned. Even though this information's out here, you still got to have success at a game. But if you project success at a game, and you project that people will desire and demand alpha, those numbers are wildly low. If you believe in a bull case success trajectory for the game long term and growth in demand, because that supply is not changing. If anything, it's going down as they evaporate off of the market and people don't bring them back, or they're going to come back at higher price points if the demand warrants it and people don't want to let it go easily. The curios are very interesting too, because those are absurdly low. Just like the liquidity has always been nuts. Even though I was talking earlier, like a year ago, how you'd see more of them offered for sale. By more, I mean like you might see, how many Grid Lords have we ever seen? The Grid Lord. I can't recall more than maybe a handful of times that's ever been offered. It's just, people just don't sell them. What are they doing with them? It might be one of those scarcity things where they don't want to let them go because they're worried they might not see it again. They don't know when, So yeah, I need onlys copy. Don't say that too loud publicly, man. Still got to work something out for that. I'm gonna send you like a strand of Frank Frazetta's hair for that one. I think I could get that. I'll talk to the sisters. They got to have some hair somewhere, Maybe a tooth or something. You put it in a baggie, like what kind of Frazetta memorabilia you looking for? Work something out. Maybe I'll send you like an uncut. I have non-foil uncut sheets. There's got to be some Frazettas on there. I know a lot are uniques. I don't have the unique. I probably have the one with his Vile-Imp on there. That's probably desirable, but yeah. There are only 2 copies of Aegis on TCG Player. The beta is up for $10 more than the alpha. So the alpha is available $10 less than the beta. Well, is it actually selling? I mean, if the beta is selling for more than available alpha, then I see dumb people. I see dumb people. Unless it's like people are going for beta complete sets. That could be, there's probably more people going for beta complete sets. There's definitely more people going for beta complete sets than alpha. I think that's just straight common sense because alpha is so wildly expensive to go for a complete set to do it card by card. Honestly, if a complete set's selling for, let's say, 55 to 65K range, it's a steal based on current individual card valuation, scarcity, difficulty of acquiring those in reasonable condition and with reasonable risk, finding a reliable seller that can help you close on that set. It's very, very hard time and cost prohibitive to pull that off. So the convenience factor is significant in that range. And I have 2, I'm not trying to pump it because I already have 2 tentative agreements. I'm working out payment plan and closure on 2 deals for the sale of a complete alpha foil set. So the price, I have no vested interest in the price personally. I don't own one personally, and I'm not looking to sell one unless these deals fall through. But it looks like we're going to work it out. It's just going to take a bit of time. It's an interesting take here. You guys are going to be hurt when you realize alpha foils will end up having a very small premium over beta foils and it's not 10x or even 3x. Yeah, why? I'm interested in why you think that if you're not just trolling people. I don't know what the multiplicative factor of beta relative alpha relative to beta or vice versa would be. But it's highly probable that alpha is significantly more rare than beta because I think it's pretty wild to think that Eric's Curioso would have printed only 29,000 boxes of beta. It's like almost like it's pretty much like impossible. Just like you can be inferred from how long Team Covenant had it. And what was the limits on the Team Covenant orders? Wasn't it like 4 cases per person per month? Cases per person. 24 boxes, I think it was. Was it 24 boxes? So 4 cases. 4 cases per month. Yeah. So 24 boxes per person. And so breakers, they were getting an ROI on that. There was enough break interest in beta. Single sellers, there's been wild demand for beta singles. Talk to any of the big single sellers. They'll tell you people are clamoring for beta singles. The foils to collect, the non-foils to play. Which is great. If people are buying non-foils or to collect, some people just only collect the non-foil set because it's reasonably affordable, certainly relative to the foils. So a lot more people are going to go for the non-foil full sets. Bigger, larger market, more accessible, means more people can do it. Every time you go up a price tier, the market size narrows, across all categories. Only so many people can afford artist proofs for a few $100s, or many of them, right? Or paintings, or embellished prints, that can be $500 to $1,000, depending on the significance of the piece, the size, the amount of work and effort that goes into the embellishments, the limited number of the print run, the magnitude of the artist, popularity, demand for that artist, for that artwork. You know, there's only so many people that go for that. And then there's a lot more people that'll buy regular prints at a very low price point. You know, the cheaper it is, the least expensive it is, the larger the market. And then the inverse is true. It's just how it works. No whales here. No whales in this chat here. Ah. TK. I don't remember seeing TK before. Thanks for if you sub for the channel, I appreciate you, man. Please like and subscribe. Don't be a freeloader. Don't freeload. If you commented, you subscribed, and I appreciate you. 43 people watching, like 5 people talking. Some people are like, this son of a bitch. I just have to hear what he says because he's such a piece of garbage that I got to hear his takes. I need like a hater, like this guy's a jackass moron. What do they call those videos where they critique like every word you say and start mincing words and being like, oh, then he said this. Paywall, gatekeeping bastard. Yeah, he's a lurker. All right, thanks, man. Yeah, art. I'm the art guy. I was trying to be the historian. Freaking Eric wouldn't show me those early play test cards. And then all of a sudden he's playing with Jesse, like slinging cards across the table. I was like, dude, just show me some pictures. I'm like the historian guy. I only spent like probably like 2 man years of my life in the past 3 months researching everything you've ever said, like a sociopath, psycho. Just throw me a few historic pictures, please. For God's sake. Yeah. At least it's out there now. Now I can take screenshots and be like, what the hell is this guy doing with these? Now, a reveal or two would have been nice, though. Come on. Let's keep it real. Should have begged harder. Didn't beg hard enough. You're selling your Sorcery collection for a house. You graded your cards for Sorcery and don't see a big premium for high-end cards. Reach out to me, man. I mentioned earlier for like Patreon supporters, I'm running like a promotion to auction graded slabbed cards because there's not enough public data points on that for any kind of price discovery. So a lot of people, I don't know, some people are just like weird. Like they don't like that I run auctions. Like it's like you charge like a fee to do that. Like, yeah, I mean, because I have people send me the product. There's an implicit trusted middleman benefit. I invest my time, anywhere from a 24-hour auction to a 48 to a 1-week auction, depending on the magnitude of the offer. And then like I manage it across 2 forums, and I've fostered and grown and nurtured and grown these large audiences. It's a benefit to the person, the seller, and to the public community with the data points. So yeah, there's like a fee for that. Just like you saw on eBay, there's a fee because it's a business that has operating cost and time commitment and sacrifice and things. So it's weird that people like hate on that and be like, what? Fee? What? But anyway, I offer like promotional discounts and stuff on that through the Patreon as a way to give back to supporters. So it's kind of like a win-win. They get this access to this broad market to auction. I'll do consignment and auctioning for anybody, like open public consignment, but the rate's going to be better for Patreon supporters. And then I'm doing a special thing for slabs because I just haven't seen a lot of slabs. I know it happens like privately, but that does not help the public. So I will take the hit on the commission fee. It'll cause me the same, it'll be the same expense of time and effort on my part to offer these. So, and it's an opportunity cost because I could sell other stuff, like you see a lot of paintings coming through and cards to offer, which is great. And I appreciate the trust and support in that. It's kind of a win-win. So there's always stuff to offer. So if I offer a promotion where I'm now like spending that time at a lower commission rate to offer that, that's like a opportunity. It's a cost to me. It's an opportunity cost because I could be auctioning something else at a higher rate and there's other stuff to offer. But I want to prioritize that, and I want to do that because I think it's valuable to the public to have, and it's also interesting, to have some real information on is there or is there not a premium on graded slabs? There's not enough evidence and data. People will be like, they'll tell you like, oh, there's these private deals. I did this, I did that, right? Where's the evidence of it? If you run a public auction and people go join the community group or the Collector Art House Discord and see that information, or maybe someone does like a YouTube video about it, like early on, there were people doing YouTube videos of some of the painting sales and, like Ben's trading cards, I remember did one. People talk about it in the Discord. So even that, like the word gets out. They're like, oh, there's this auction on Collector Art House Discord, or I saw it on the community group. Even if you're not in the group, for whatever reason, it's just not your scene, you don't like it. People still hear about it, and then the information's out there publicly. It's verifiable. It's on a public social media platform where people that are in that group, they can just go do a search, like I showed you guys, and you could be like, oh, look, there was an auction that sold for that. It was BGS, like the raw version's worth this, and the auction shows that there was market demand at this price point. And then like I want to do it for all the labels, at least the big three: BGS, PSA, CGC. If you want to do PCG, that would be interesting too. So let's say like those four are probably like the most known, the most used, and there's just not a lot of public data or evidence out there to kind of suggest what those valuations should be. So, yo, what's up, Dylan? Dylan's doing some awesome stuff, man. Let me check out. How do we find? Let me go to Dylan's page here. He just did this like amazing tarot card artwork, and he's thinking about. I think he's thinking dabbling a bit into. Look at this. Look at this painting Dylan did, man. It's freaking unbelievable. I told him this is evil Captain Baldassare. Even evil Captain Baldassare. You know, look at him. He's menacing looking. Great detail here. That'd be like a great sorcery alt art for like a dark Baldassare for an Angels and Demons Heaven and Hell type set, right? You got the evil variant. So I think he might dabble in some altars. Let's see. These are some of the progress pieces, I think, in the final. Freaking awesome. Yeah. It's nice work, man. Does good stuff. Look at this. Really cool style that seems fitting. These progress sketches were really cool too. I love so here's an example I was talking about earlier. Dylan might have some insight here. So some artists, they'll do like a thumbnail. So maybe you could comment in the chat on this. I'd be interested to know, because you have like a detailed sketch over here. And then I see you kind of did that at larger scale for this large piece you did for the tarot card. So some people really work out the details in a smaller sketch, and then also do more of like a outline, or even this is fairly detailed, I would say, but they'll do that as the underpinning of the piece, and then focus the energy on getting the colors right in the blending. And this is really awesome too. I want to go back to the original because the lighting looks great. I'm always like really impressed. There's something Atlas Thorne said too. Like he said he really was impressed by James Gurney. Was one of his influences that he admired, and he liked the lighting, the quality of the lighting that he captures in his images. And it's interesting, like the shadows, the light, it's got to be done through paint coloration. It's a lot of like work and imagination to get it right and make it look realistic, even for a fantasy piece. There's still an element of realism to it, and a lot of skill and technique involved. It's a good one, dude. This guy's not messing around. That's pretty sweet. Monsters and Layers. So is it cryptid? Upcoming Monsters and Layers by Status Effect Games, LLC. Yeah, it's good stuff, dude. This one was cool. I think I saw you had prints of this at the IX Art Show. You going to IX again this October? That was a cool, striking piece. And the dragon one, too. What was the name of the dragon? Yeah, this was your booth at IX. This is the dragon. What was the name of this dragon? So I made the sorcery card out of that. Yeah, a lot of good stuff at the booth here. Awesome. I have I bought the playmat from you of that. It's pretty sweet. This playmat's really cool, too. I was tempted on that one. I picked one that wouldn't freak out the kids. 3-year-old still gets scared. Yeah, the Crusade and the Aberrant Beast. So let's go back to the community group page because I made that mock-up card. People were like super into that. I remember it got a lot of likes. Crusade and the Aberrant Beast. I didn't spell it right, did I? Ah, I messed it up. Let's see. All right, only posted by me. That'll help narrow it down. I must have spelled it wrong. Crusade. Let me just search for Crusade. I gotta find it. I think I remember showcasing the playmat too. Maybe I didn't put it in the title. Oh, you can't make it to IX? Yeah, it's too bad. Elvira Shakarova is going this year. It's gonna be really great seeing her in person. Yeah, of course the Truett stuff's coming, popping up. I don't know if the I got to get a little more savvier with the search terms. That was like a meme I did there one time. I don't know. So you go to the IX art show. So me looking like a goofball. Got my sorcery shirt there. So this was really cool, guys. Alan Pollock. I know I featured his painting earlier. Drew Tucker, Liz Danforth, Jeff Menges, and this goofball here. So I invited them all to dinner. It's real cool. This place used to be like a train station in Reading, Pennsylvania, right by the IX art show. Liz was super nice. I picked her up at the hotel, and it was like right across the street. I was like, I guess we could have walked here. The other three guys walked there, but we drove we had to go a big roundabout way because of all the one-way roads in town there. But we were talking about like the early days of Magic. She was telling me some stories about some of her experiences with WotC and stuff like that. There's a lot of positives and negatives, like pros and cons to the stuff that would go on in the early days. But then I had them all sign this artist card, the card with the artists, right on the card. And then they all signed it. And I was like, oh, so I had like at least 5 or 6 copies I had done. And then I was like, let's all hold one up for the picture. It's got this really fun, nice memory here from this past October. But yeah, here we go, dude. This is the dragon in the background. That was me using the playmat as a backdrop. I have 2 Relentless Crowds. I've been hearing they're selling for like $3,000 now, which is pretty. Like, is one of those things like where it's a compelling valuation that makes you think. So I have 2 of them that I earned from the company in 2 different ways. They did this early Q&A, and I submitted. Like, I was crazy active in the official Discord, and I was always peppering Eric and the team with questions. And Eric chose like one of my questions as his favorite question was like the promotion they were running. So I think I ended up with a Relentless Crowd from that participation in that, and then like maybe another one for just, I don't know. There was 2 different reasons. So I have 2. I might offer one if you're interested. Let me know. If people are paying 3 G's for it, it's an opportunity. It's opportunity cost. I can use that for. I don't have to have 2. I'd like to. I do like to. But I'd probably be willing to let one go to use towards paintings or something like that. I don't know where that mock-up card is that I did. This was one of my favorite proofs from Mikhail, artist proofs, man. He's got really sentimental, nice storytelling pieces that he does. Jay Slay, what's up, man? Look at Jay Slay's avatar. He's not effing around here. He's like the frog. This guy Jay Slay, man, doesn't mess around. I would love a Relentless Crowd for the right price. The right price appears to be about $3,000 right now. That's why I'm willing to sell it. It's pretty wild. That's the card I was talking about. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, I think that's fun idea, guys. Bring this to shows. Ask the artist to sign it. Let them know this is the greatest card ever made in Sorcery, because it is. Great idea. I really love it. It's got the copyright symbol as it should. Eric's going back to that for Arthurian Legends as he should. I love that change. It's the right thing to do. I never liked the change to the... I like having the alpha symbol, but I would have preferred having the copyright symbol and the alpha symbol. I think is the right thing. And that's exactly what they're doing for Arthurian Legends, so it's really cool to see. Look at this one. I got this bad boy at the frame shop. The Spear of Destiny. Simple walnut frame. Right on the border. No matte. I'm always like a little weary of going no matte. I really like a nice matte. But I don't know. Like a nice walnut frame, it kind of matches the spear at the stick, the shaft of the spear of the spear. So I think that's gonna look pretty cool. I'm excited to get that one back. The Vivian altar, that was cool, fun one. Not yet. Look at this. This is when we were being taunted by the fulfillment of the Kickstarter. Not yet, dumbass. Not enough people like that. That was a good meme, I thought. Look at that. Look at it. Look at all these Debbies pissed off. Debbie Downers here. 7 people. Relentless Crowd goes for 2,200-ish. I just heard of a private sale for 2,700. So I figured if it's going for 2,700, I'll sell it for 3. It's like one of those things that are so rare. There's less and less out there. Yeah, the foil alpha set, it didn't officially sell yet. And as it turns out, I have 2 of them now. There's another guy that came forward and wanted to sell it, so I'm working on closing 2 deals with the buyers. But it's a significant sum of money for those. So, you know, there's a lot of logistics involved with moving around cash of that magnitude or payment of various kinds. Did you guys know Crown of the Victor? There's a lot of interesting history here in the Discord. Now I'm just winging it, man. I don't know if you guys are bored to tears, but I love going through like the old history of the group and stuff we were talking about a year ago. And I think it was Elvira Shakarova herself told me that Eric, when she got the direction from Eric, he showed her. She was probably already familiar with the card because she does a lot of her she did a lot of magic altars before Sorcery, right? So that's what I'm trying to do with these platforms. Discover other artists, whether they're altars or they're more traditional artists like Dylan. Like, let's see, like, let's try to alter on a card. And then we could use these forums to create visibility for these new artists. It's very exciting, you know, like people went nuts for Atlas Thorn, the Prodigy. Even, I almost said even, but like Vivian Calazan's in a different way in her own right is doing beautiful work. It's a completely different style from Atlas, but they were both wildly popular. And it's a great opportunity for them to showcase their work to a very enthusiastic, art-loving community. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I actually sent off like 60 cards to another altarist that I thought was like really impressive and does great work. It's in she's in Europe area, so she'll probably get them in like a week, and then maybe next month she's going to do a few altars on Sorcery cards, and then we'll offer those and see if Sorcery fans resonate with it. So first was Vivian, then Atlas, now this other artist. I'll announce it when it's closer to ready or when I have those back in hand. But yeah, it's a great platform, and maybe it'll lead to some discovery for Sorcery. Like if the fans really resonate with it, why not? Maybe Eric will commission them for the game. That'd be super cool. And to be a part of that would be great win for everybody. So the Urza's Mitre from Antiquities, this was the card that Eric had in mind when he asked Elvira to do a concept for Crown of the Victor. So you see, she kind of, hers is very different, you know, different stylistically, but it draws some inspiration from this intricate background in a thematically similar way, even though executed quite differently. So here's the card. And then, yeah, Anger's Throne's flashing the tear sign, I think, because this painting was tragically lost at sea. I don't know. At sea is kind of like the tasteless joke aspect of that. It kind of ties to the slow boat meme. We would say that Eric said, he made a comment on my Alpha Showcase video about very slow boat. It was so funny the way he said it, that now we joke about that a lot. People, when things are delayed, they're like, it's coming on the slow boat, you know? But so we kind of joked that, even though it's not funny at all, it's fucking terrible. This painting was lost. I don't know if it was literally lost at sea or it was freaking, I don't know. It was lost in transit somehow. It was supposed to be the prize for the It would have been a great prize for the first Sorcery Gen Con. It's just sad to lose it, period. But yeah, it's just a shame because it's a great artwork, and it's just unfortunate that the opportunity cost, a loss of the chance for many people to see this piece, is the biggest shame of it, because it looks freaking awesome, and I bet it looks amazing in person. I've been very fortunate to see many of Elvira's originals. Yeah, I did a whole homage to Brahm back in September from his Guardians CCG. You know, this is the card that inspired his license for Sorcery, same artwork. There's a lot of interesting art in that game. Rodney Matthews, guys. I was talking earlier about how he commands look at this. Like another one, some of these artists, man, it just blows the mind, like how the quality of the detail. He does like this airbrushing technique, you know, for the background. Just makes it look so smooth and pristine. Truett Parrish was doing some of this on some of his paintings too. But yeah, Rodney's incredible. I cannot wait to see him do new work for Sorcery. So far we've seen, this is the new work we've seen, in a way. These are artist proofs, man. So good to own artist proof from such a legend. So he's been super busy. We only offered 5 of these. It was such an honor to even work with him at all, or even talk to him for that matter, because the guy is really big time. Like, no kidding, huge, like Frazetta level. He was in this book. He's in this book, guys. Look at this book. Is this it? Look at this book. Look at this book here. The Masters. You might want to check out this book here. I'm not selling it. I'm just praising the greatness of Rodney Matthews. Mikhail Nagypal is pretty freaking awesome too. Mikhail Nagypal. Guy's the man. Pulled a fast one on you there. You didn't think you'd get a twofer on that one. So look, this is the masterpieces of fantasy art. So you got Frazetta. As I recall, I think there's 5 artists featured in here. It's a Toshin book, you know? Major producer. This guy does a lot of art books. For that label, there was like a big Frazetta. You got some Boris stuff in here. This is actually Julie Bell, Boris Vallejo's wife. Actually, Boris is her husband. You got Julie Bell, and then you got Boris. You could say it both ways. Out of respect. Both are phenomenal, great, talented artists. But there's a whole section in here that honors the great Rodney Matthews. Oh, is this it? No. I think what did they call him? Here you go. You got a Frazetta the God is what they call Frazetta. The God. It's pretty high praise. It's hard to top God. H.R. Geiger. So this is, when I did the interview with Severin Pignou, she said that he was one of her influences. You know, because if you think of Severin Pignou's art, you think of the, maybe I should just do like an art-based live sometime. I wonder if like I'd get better or worse attendance. What do you call it? Views. Views and like active commentary in the chat and stuff if I did like an art thing like this, right? Maybe I'll do that. I have like several art books, and I have some of Severin's books even, which are the best ones, you know? But this H.R. Geiger, you know, she's got this like nature style where she does a lot of things where she invokes like nature and blends humanity with nature elements. You know, she'll do like a person emerging from a tree or like conjoined with a tree, kind of like one and the same, right? Or, you know, a baby in a tree, a mother and a baby, or I don't know, like things like that, right? But there's also these like biomechanic elements. And she said she drew inspiration for that from H.R. Geiger, was one of the people, predominant influences on how she did that. So you think of like key theory mechanism or time stop, which came up as I was panning through the community group page. So when you look in this book, you see some of the stuff that Geiger did. And he's got like these mechanical pieces. That's why they said biomechanic. Look at this. You see what I mean? Interwoven like in the pieces. So she did a lot of experimenting with that too. And you see the influence in her art. It's pretty cool. The Brothers Hildenbrandt. I should have looked at the table of contents. Just straight winging it here, guys. Here we go, guys. This is it. This is it, baby. Here we go. Rodney Matthews. 1945. That's got to be the Frazetta one. Is that the Frazetta one? Is that Rodney? Here we go. Rodney Matthews, the rock star. He's not kidding, guys. Did you know that Rodney Matthews, he played drums for Clapton, Eric Clapton. Look at this. This is like a young prime Rodney. People don't remember young Rodney. We know like current day, present day Rodney. But that's him, dude. He toured with Clapton. That's him. Rocking the drums. I'm gonna have him on for an interview. I'm really trying hard to make that happen. I think it might happen during the Summer of Grails. That was our tentative plan. He had some things going on. He said like maybe that's when he'd free up. See you only. Thanks, man. Appreciate you hanging out tonight. Always good to see you. Thanks for your service. And you can continue to do a good service by trading me that Grail card that I desire. So keep that in mind at all times, buddy. Have a good night. Sleep on it. Go ahead and sleep on it. Gonna be sleeping anyway. So Rodney's done a bunch of album covers. He's thinking about it already. Didn't even leave yet. So he's done a lot of like classic rock album covers. Yeah, I'm not saying what the Grail card is out loud because all these predators are gonna be on you about it. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna make a big mistake that you're gonna regret. I don't want to see that happen to you. I want it to go to a safe house where it can be properly admired and cherished. You know I don't go for many cards, so when I do, they're pretty serious cards. Praying Mantis. Rodney art, man. Next level. So good. Look at this one. Absolutely insane. The 2-page spreads. Look at this. Oh my God. What a legend. Dude, he did these decades ago. Decades ago. So incredible. Talking about lighting earlier. It's wild. Look at all this freaking treasure detail. I don't know. Sometimes artists say like Elvira Shakarova did the floor in the Amazon Warriors, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty complicated. And she's like, nah, that's easy. That was no big deal. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I'm a moron. I can't do anything, so everything looks amazing to me. But yeah, there's like so much detail in this. I was just looking at like the bed of coins, but I don't know. It just takes so much time and effort and meticulous detail. When you do dragons too, with all the dragon scales, are always fascinating. This is a great book. You know, you get to appreciate his art and read a little bit about his background and his life. I got to read this. I got to revisit this, read it. Mobius, cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of legends in this book, and he was in like a very exclusive group here selected for this book. So it just says that he's on the caliber. He's held in the same esteem as some of these legends, and he's a very extremely humble guy. And his wife Sarah too. It's like an angel, you know. And she's just comes across as like a big fan of his too. And she was like, you know, it was like we're really honored. Like they selected Rodney in this like group of just like 20 artists. You know, a lot of big great artists. It's always real nice when artists appreciate and support other artists. That happens a lot in sorcery. I hear that all the time. The sorcery artists admire the other sorcery artists, inspire each other to do their best work. It's a beautiful thing. Helps everybody. Good for everybody. Yeah, the Severn books are great. I did like a recorded video ages ago on that. And damn, it's 11 o'clock. Man, Thought I was ahead of schedule tonight. Yeah, I should probably wrap it up soon. What have you guys been talking about in chat here? I kind of glancing over from time to time. Those APs are wild. Yeah, the Rodney APs. Those are pretty amazing. Please quit your job in running a card signing service. I had a Are you talking to me? Or someone? I guess you could be talking to somebody else in chat. I was thinking about doing that, and I had every intention to do that, but I told the artist that I had a fundamental, like, right or wrong, I just had a fundamentally philosophical hang up with the idea of doing mass quantity signings, autographs, signatures, whatever you want to call it, for like a couple bucks or a few bucks a card at scale. I really felt like philosophically it to me, I think it's much better to do not at a crazy price point, but a higher price point, much fewer quantity. Same net return for the artist. Similar cost. I mean, the cost equation on the buyer side, the customer side, is instead of getting like, do you really need like dozens, hundreds? Maybe you want a full set. Okay, that's goals like that, or maybe you want one of all the cards from your favorite artist, or a handful of your favorite artists. But I feel like when artists sign at scale for just a couple dollars, if you do it in person at an event, you might offer a discount. That's like one thing. It's a personal touch. Maybe you just want to do that, connect with fans or whatever your rationale is. But to do it like through a mail order service when it's like impersonalized like that, and it's done just like so inexpensively, I feel like it really dilutes like the value and the significance of it. Dilutes like the value of the brand of the artist. If they're just signing their name on anything, it just becomes like signing some paperwork at the doctor's office. It just loses its meaning, its value, its special nature. It just doesn't feel right. It didn't feel right to me. I didn't want to be like complicit in that, like a part of that. Anything that would like potentially damage the brand of the artist's personal touch. And a signature is like a personal thing, right? Like only they can do it. So I thought it was like it should be a special thing and should be a valuable thing. And I think at the end of the day, even if customers have to pay more, that's better for them too, because then the signature means something. It's like harder to get. Anything harder to attain is worth striving for. Otherwise it's like the same like game piece theory, right? For a collector, game piece theory is awful. It's terrible for collectors, because if your stuff is mass produced, very easy to acquire, not worth anything, no chase, you take it for granted. You just don't appreciate it. It's not as fun. It's not as valuable. So I don't know. Some of the artists just like did not agree with me at all. Some were like, oh, you make some good points. I looked at some examples, and it was funny. I Googled it. I was like, what are these like celebrities making? Like these artists are celebrities, right? We all like hold them in very high esteem and look up to them as like, we admire their talent at a minimum. But a lot of these guys like straight up treat them like A-list actors. Like they'll see them in person and talk to them and be like, it's freak out, like, what am I going to say to this god, this talent god? But at a minimum, you admire their talent, and you have respect for them, and you feel like obviously you respect their work and you feel it's valuable, so their signature on something also should be valuable and have meaning, is the point. So I looked up like what are like, I remember as a kid I would go to the mall, and like Bruce Smith from the Bills, famous Hall of Famer, defensive end, was like doing signings, and the line was like wrapping around the mall, and the guy was charging like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, whatever it was. And then so I looked it up. I haven't done that in freaking like decades. Like, are they even commanding that any day, or is like these days, or like everybody's signing for like $2, $3, $4, $5? And so I just Googled it, and like one of the first things that came up is freaking Goldberg. The actor that did Goldberg in the Mighty Ducks. Kevmo has no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but anyone was born like the day after yesterday which would be today, ironically. Baby Kevmo doesn't know, but most of the target demographic of Sorcery knows who Goldberg is from the Mighty Ducks. He was like this chubby little goalie kid that had some personality and said that it was I don't know if he said quantity over quality or if it was this other like Goldberg looking kid in my neighborhood as a kid that would say that. He'd always be like, it's quantity over quality. But this freaking guy Goldberg's like charging like $65 a signature at some signing event. I was like, I didn't even know this guy was still alive. How's he commanding 65? And like these artists that are like superhuman, like talent, like even it's a mix of talent and skill and hard work and discipline, but they hone their craft and they work their ass off to get to the level they are, to only like piss away their signature like it's nothing for $2-3. I just didn't believe in it fundamentally. So I was like, I could support you guys in so many ways, and I love like working with you on artist proofs and paintings and all these things, but it just doesn't feel right with the signatures. So I kind of backed off of that and said, minimum I got to think about it, but I don't think I want to do it. I think it's harmful and damaging to their brand. So like as a matter of principle, I just didn't think it was the right thing to do. So that's why I backed off of that, even though I'd been thinking about that. Oh shit. Someone's telling me Summer Sorcery. These new Sorcery cards out of Singapore commanding a 20% premium at the moment. That might just be immediate near stage FOMO. Yeah, this is a problem. Going rate for the big MTG signing service. The big signing service. I mean, that's a mass quantity. I mean, these signing services I've seen, they're collecting like tons of cards, and then they show up with like a duffel bag full of cards at these events, and great. I mean, like the artists, sure, they make like good money on that at scale, but then that's what their signature's worth. Like it's devalued, it's diluted and devalued at that point. Like the valuable like I don't know. There were like certain artists in history that it was difficult to attain their work. Like Frazetta would never sell his paintings, and then he passes away in his estate. The paintings became super valuable, and oh god, I need to sleep more. The freaking guy with the afro, with the big bushy hair, the most famous painter of all time. It was on TV that everybody loves. I can't even think of it. I'm brain dead. The guy never sold his stuff, so it was super Bob Ross. Yeah, thank you. I don't know. Right now, like my brain is fried. I think Bob Ross is the guy that roasts people, that roasted Tom Brady the other day. That's where my head's at. I need to sleep more. But like the guy never sold his stuff, so like it became rare, it became meaningful, it became valuable, it became special, it became hard to attain, like artist proofs. Like it's not just that they're rare, it's that they're not easy to acquire. If the artists were like, how do you feel about like some of these artists? I mean, I feel bad, like people are disconnected from the sorcery scene, like Aranja Art, she was selling her artist proofs like crazy cheap early on. At least she picked up quick, and then as they would sell out instantly on the website, she would raise the price, and she started commanding a little more value for them. And then she went back, people started sending back to her and asking her to paint on them, and then she was making more. But if these were all sold for like $50, $100, would you feel the same about it? I mean, the fact that they're valuable, they're harder to acquire, makes them more special in a way. The intrinsic beauty of the art is fundamentally the most important thing. They're desirable because of that, and they're valuable because of that, and because of the demand for that. But the point is, if they were mass produced, or if they just did like half-assed sketches, like really crude 2-minute sketches, it just wouldn't be the same, right? They're special because of the attention to detail, the effort, the care, the storytelling that goes into it. This is a funny and fun one, but it's not like, it's still like well done, right? I mean, it's not like he just like sat down and slapped this together in 5 minutes. The artist can take like many hours. sometimes days if it's really crazy and elaborate to really do these. How long do you think it takes? I asked Atlas Thorn, how long is it taking you to do those insane altars you're doing? And he's like, of course it varies, but it could take like 2 days a piece, and then there's, it's drying time after that. But he could spend like a full day, maybe 2 days on a piece. What do you get paid for 2 days of work? You get paid $50, $100 for 2 days. It's not like 2 full 8-hour days, but even so, like, time is money. Should artists be paid like, I don't be derogatory here, but like a fast food chain worker, a low wage, low skill job? Should it be valued and rewarded and appraised like that? It just doesn't make sense. So like that, friggin' our boy Ivan there like pissed me off because he was like, he made some comment about like, I don't know, I touched on it yesterday, but like what triggered me is like he made some comment like these $200 artist proofs. And I was like, what do you mean $200? I was like, because you think they're $200, they're $200. I mean, it's bullshit. Like they're open public auctions. They're like how people value. Like to say that is like, it just came across as like derogatory and demeaning to the artist. And it wasn't just that. He used like some triggering words like manipulation, as if like I was causing them to be. I mean, sure, I'm an advocate for their work. I get excited about it. I promote it. I showcase it. I talk about how great it is because I'm into it. I collect it myself, and I have a vested interest, so there is bias there too. Fine. But I mean, I paid a lot for paintings too. I have like a hell of a collection. Because I think it is valuable and has merit. And I think there's other people that get this and they're like, of course, it's like totally reasonable that they're putting all this time and energy and effort. And, the old adage, they talk about the, I'm blanking on another, oh my God. Can't even tell the story because I can't. Oh, was it Picasso? The guy, the art, was it Picasso? No. I can't, I got to sleep more. I can't think of names now. But there's this artist, and there's like this legendary story. It sounds like corny to tell because I think everyone's heard it. Or maybe not. No, it's a mixed audience, right? So like the woman, and it might be, I don't know if it's like a literal story or more of like a figurative to try to tell, like explain the meaning of the value of art. But, the legend goes, a woman comes up to him like in a park or something. He's just hanging out, or maybe he's doing like sketches or an exhibition or something. And she's like, hey, can you do like a sketch of me? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. No problem. And it takes him like 2 minutes to do it, because he's a master. And it might not have been the most elaborate piece, but it's still like a quality work. And she was like, oh, thank you. Like, how much do I owe you? And he says something like $500 or something. It's like a number that like surprised her, right? So she says like, really? What do you mean? Like 500? That took you 2 minutes? And he was like, no, it didn't take me 2 minutes. It took me my entire life, like 30 years of my career, to be able to do what I just did for you, like the skill and the technical discipline to do that work, right? So the value of someone's time as a professional, would you go pay the same amount to a professional doctor? You kind of, this is another bad example because doctors is, you might get like a grad student checking you out versus the head doctor, and they'll charge you the same amount. But if you were getting like a some kind of professional level service done, would you pay more to a lawyer with 30 years experience that kind of knew the law inside and out and mastered the discipline? Would you pay more to that person than you would pay for someone that just graduated last year from the local community college? I mean, there's like levels to these things. It just makes basic common sense. But anyway, that's my story on a dilution of signatures and like why I didn't pursue that. Because it's obviously, I have like a lot of artist relationships and it's naturally something I could pursue. And maybe I'll revisit it at some time, but I can't wrap my mind around getting involved in that at the moment. Yeah, I know. Like there is a benefit in a, ultimately it's the artist's decision, right? So like I could take the approach where like, yeah, it's your call. And that's what I told the artist. I was like, there's other people that'll do it. someone's going to do it. Someone's going to emerge and do it. And it's up to you ultimately to decide your own price and how you want to approach it and what you think is fair. Um, my fundamental hang up was like, I didn't want to be involved in it because I think it diluted and ruined their value. I didn't want to like be any part of that. Like, I want to like enhance their value and like make their work appreciated and valued. So I wouldn't want to do something that I feel is part of the devaluation of what their time and effort and work is worth. So I just kind of left it at that for now. And others, they worked with others or they do their direct thing or whatever. But yeah, and I understand the convenience and why it's a convenience for sure. Yeah, and it's mutually benefits artist and customer, that convenience aspect of it. And maybe it's not, I don't know. Some people say like, it's just a signature. Like they make their money on whatever. I mean, it's tough as an artist. Like you gotta get the most value and the value you deserve out of everything you do. I don't know that you should like categorize and relate it necessarily directly to time invested as much as, I don't know, the brand, the significance. I don't want to sound too corporate like when I say brand, but like the notoriety, the significance, level of the person. You know, when you go see, if you go to like a signing event for a professional athlete versus like a minor leaguer or like I don't know, you go to like a high school game or something or college level. I mean, there's different tiers. You pay. It takes them all the same time to do it, right? But they charge different prices for a reason. Yeah, the logistics too are a freaking pain in the ass, like you're saying. Yeah, some people will be like, oh, really? You're going to charge like $10, $15 for like a signature? Like, all you got to do is like send it to them. They send it to you. You send it to 1,000 people. Like, what do you, like when I do like a sample break, I've kind of tried to like fine tune the logistics of it. It's not like just the recording, the fun of the event. Don't get me wrong. It's great. It's awesome. It's great content. I love doing it. I'm not complaining. But then like when you do like a alpha box break, that's a lot of cards, guys. And then to pack it up and then print the labels, figure out who the hell these people are. Like, your name is like Goofaloop on Discord? I put Goofaloop on the label. You mean the mailman couldn't figure it out? Like, I Googled it. I can't find your address anywhere. You know, it takes me like 20 minutes to figure out who the hell this person is, like what their real name is. And then you got to do all this work, you know? You got to get better organized and like do an address book. But more people come into the sorcery market all the time, meeting new people all the time, you know? I'm forgetting as much as I'm learning and meeting the new people. So it's tough. It all takes time to do the packing, the shipping. There's material cost, all the freaking packaging too. And dude, I spent like thousands of dollars on just shipping costs last year. It's freaking insane. And I'm not doing anything like a crazy scale either. It just adds up fast, the time and the logistics. Yeah. You know what? Like, it would be cool to do like an exhibition of sorts. Who was it telling me? Was it Ed Bear Jr.? Or I don't know. It all runs together. Like one of the artists was saying, like, you know, Mike, like these sorcery guys are doing these community events that are gameplay focused. Like, how about an art one? You know, like you could do that. It doesn't have to be all my stuff, but like it's just a sorcery show, you know, where people show off their high end sorcery cards or their collections, right? And you go check out, flip through the binder and see the full alpha foil set. There's a lot of people that haven't seen like every sorcery. I don't know that. Well, yeah, now I have seen every sorcery foil set because I'm selling a couple sets of them. But until recently, like I hadn't seen every foil card. I've seen a lot of them, but it's the paintings. Yeah, get everybody to fly out or drive out to like a conference center that we rent out, and just everybody buys an easel or two, right? If you get like 30 people. 30 to 50 people bring 1 to 2 paintings. We're going to see a significant sample size of the alpha. There's probably that. I'm trying to think through, like, I've sold 50 paintings, guys. Can you believe that? I was stunned. And some of them I've sold twice, believe it or not. In some cases, I sold it directly for the artist, and then that person resold. In other cases, I'm trying to think if there's been like a double resale where like it was already in the hands of a collector, sold to somebody else, and then sold again. I'm sure that's come up a few times, but 50 total painting sales. Sir Tristan was number 50. Um, so I've probably uniquely seen, I mean, many dozens of original paintings from Sorcery. Just to see them has been such a great privilege and honor. Like, so amazing. It really deepens your appreciation for the caliber of the art in Sorcery, to see the art in person, because it oftentimes looks different than the card, you know? The color saturation, like Eric made some tweaks digitally to hone it for like the look he was looking for the card print. Um, for specific reasons, make them look a certain way for gameplay, immediately recognizable or whatever the case may be. So to see the original paintings, it's like a whole new experience, and like you appreciate detail. Like the Drown painting that I showcased at the start of this episode. If you joined late, go back to the beginning. I have the Alan Pollock Drown painting that's going to be coming to auction. And dude, when you see it in person, it's like you look at it and you're like, how are there no brushstrokes? Like, why does it look like a picture? It literally looks like almost like a picture. Like Alan Pollock's work is absurdly refined. Yeah, it looks more green than the more bluish hues that you see on the card. It's so great seeing it in person. You're gonna see a lot of people are gonna be seeing them at the Sorcery Spring Social. I shouldn't stay up till midnight again, guys. I'm almost at 3 hours. I'm completely out of control. I might have to do a live tomorrow because I think I got a couple paintings coming. So we're gonna do the Drown. That's the only original Sorcery painting that's coming. There are 2 paintings coming imminently. And then the last thing I'll leave you with, and hopefully it works out. A couple times he's at the bell at the 11th hour, and it just didn't happen. But we're going to have a sample pack break on Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. And I always oftentimes I'll open with a guest, or I'll do like a showcase of something, maybe something I'm going to auction or whatever, something from my personal collection that's interesting. And then we get into the event, right? So this Sunday at 4 o'clock, we're going to have artist Truett Parrish is going to be making an appearance. When Drew from Drew Holmes is the guy's name. Drew from On the Play, is it? Or is that the other guy? He's going to kill me, man. Is it On the Play? Drew, the guy that emceed, coordinated, ran the March of the Mortals. That Drew. He commissioned Truett for today's Truett's birthday too, by the way. Shout out, happy birthday to Truett. He commissioned a painting from him. Can't talk. So I really wanted to surprise him. I had Drew on my show for a little interview, and I had it lined up. So I was gonna surprise him and have Truett pop onto the show. And then something came up, and he couldn't do it at the last minute, so it was kind of a bummer. I was able to surprise Too Fluent, who is you guys might know him better as Truett's stalker. Too Fluent. The restraining order guy on Truett. Yeah. Lewis. He loves Truett. So when I did the beta showcase, I did surprise him. It was the first time he ever talked to Truett, like at all. Like they never talked on the phone or anything. So it was like kind of a fun moment for him. He didn't know that was going to happen. So I was trying to do the same for Drew, because Drew commissioned him for March of the Mortals, and it didn't pan out. So I was trying to line it up for Drew this Sunday, and Drew told me he was too busy. He's got like work stuff going on. So I was like, dude, you're going to regret it. It's a good thing you're busy. You won't have to regret it till next week. And he's like, you son of a bitch. But yeah, one of these days we'll connect them. But 2 paintings that Truett did, they're very thematic, fitting for Sorcery, but they're not Sorcery pieces. And they're 2 originals he wanted to offer to Sorcery fans who enjoy his work. So, you know, with the Sorcery Premium, it might not command like the same price point as a card that's published and used in the game, but it has a similar vibe, so it'll have a similar appeal on like an intrinsic art level to people that like his work and like his style, and it might be a little more accessible price wise when it goes to auction. You know, it's not gonna be like super cheap. The work's valuable. You know, it takes the same amount of time to do the paintings, but the published premium does add value. So I'm not trying to inflate it, but so there will probably be a reserve and a certain number he's looking for, but it's not like auctioning Crusade or Jihad, you know, which is probably pretty clearly like a 5-figure painting for those now. Those are like grails of the game. So there'll be opportunity there, but we'll have the Alan Pollock one as the Sorcery original. So yeah, I'll get them on. That's about it, guys. I might come on and showcase those tomorrow as a preview in case I run the auction after he comes on Sunday. I might kick it off Sunday night. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe I'll just get a decent night's sleep and we'll wait till Sunday, possibly for the next live. You never know. You never know. Things come up. I get excited and then I want to go live and talk about it. But Sunday at 4 is what we're targeting. Sample pack break number 23, I think it is. Pretty insane. So a lot of breaks for packs that are stupid rare, stupid expensive at this point. And I just got 2 of them. I just bought 2 more. Came in the mail today. They're getting freaking expensive, man. Hard to find. If you got them, hook me up. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. 3 hours. Have a good night. Take care.